That's what I did while I was watching Raw last night. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get everything written up. We're going to talk a lot of NFL and college football playoffs today. All right. We're going to talk about our semifinals upcoming. Like I got stuff. I got stuff to get to on a Tuesday morning, but I'm going to tell you, like, I am I'm sluggish this AM, man. Like I am struggling this AM. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see. I want to put it on the forefront that if you're not a morning person and you have days where you're struggling to get it together in the AM, you are not alone, pal. You're not alone. I am here with you.
We're going to have a wonderful show today. It's going to be exciting, very informative, hopefully entertaining, and don't turn away.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. We're going to give it all we got. All right. Fallout of Black Monday in the NFL. We only ended up having a couple of head coaches let go. Gerard Mayo of the New England Patriots was the first coach to let go. Doug Peterson of the Jags was let go yesterday. Surprising number of teams deciding to stay with their head coaches. Some non-committal so far. Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, at this point,
I'm a winner. I know how to win.
I'm relatively. Is that who that is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You haven't seen the press conference?
No, I've not yet.
I heard it this morning. It's like, oh, let me get this before Rob does.
Good call. That's a good one. That's a good clip. It's interesting because Gerard has been relatively non-committal on Mike McCarthy, but we do have other teams. Okay. Sorry, timeout. They just showed Bob Kraft doing his press conference. All right. Bob Kraft is wearing a very lovely light blue sports blazer, a white shirt, like dress shirt under that, and then a black full-colored undershirt underneath that. No, Bob, you're a billionaire, my man.
He's also 82 years old.
You're a billionaire that if you are running an NFL franchise that I love, I expect you to look the part. I'm not saying you got to be like suit and tied with an ascot every time.
Here's the thing. If I'm a billionaire, I'm going to Fetterman every single time.
I mean, dude, if you
wear what you want. I mean, here's the thing. Once you reach a certain age and a certain amount of money, what do you care what people think about your look?
Here's what I care. When my program is a dumpster fire, when I hired one of my guys only to fire him after 1 year, when we all knew going in the team was going to suck and try to blame it all on him like it's not on me, yeah, I expect there to be some level of I've got my bleep togetherness. And right now there's not. Right now there's not. Anyway, we'll come back to Bob Kraft and the Patriots. There are now at least 3 teams that have asked the Dallas Cowboys permission to speak with Mike McCarthy about their vacant or potentially upcoming vacant roles. We know the Jets have done it. We know that the Bears, because LOL, have asked about speaking to Mike McCarthy. And I believe there was a report that one more team that has not yet fired their head coach has asked for permission to speak with Mike. How did Mike McCarthy become the head coaching hot commodity?
I'm a winner. I know how to win.
I guess, Mike. I guess you do. But for the record, and I said this, I think either yesterday or Friday, and I'll stand on it. I know I said it on Saturday on Bet for the Cycle. Maybe we give Mike McCarthy a little grace. Because I've been saying for how many years now that the problem in the Big D, and I do mean Dallas, is what? Jerry Jones' ego. It's Jerry Jones that's the problem. Maybe it's not on Mike. Maybe it is a JJ problem. And if it's a JJ problem, then it kind of makes sense that as all these other teams are like, hey, Mike McCarthy, how do you feel about your coaching abilities right now? Oh, I don't get it this time. I don't get it that time. That would have.
I'm a winner. I know how to win.
Thanks, Mike. Take your time getting back to us.
Sorry, I saw LA Knight in the ring with an LA Knight lookalike, and it's so good. It just stunned me. I mean, the dude's like 6 inches shorter, but look, everything. It just, yeah.
Yeah. I ain't got it in me. I ain't got the dog in me today, to be honest with you. I'm fighting to find that dog in me today.
I apologize for being distracted.
It's all right.
It was just very shocking.
It's by wrestling. It happens. Maybe there's something to that. I don't know. I just can't buy into it. Oh, the Saints are one of those teams. Yay.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, obviously he did win a Super Bowl. He has won wherever he's been. Maybe the coaching pool is so small, and that people have. So, how many successful coaches last year were first year coaches?
You mean this year? How many? Let's see. Sean, I'm thinking about
year,
that.
But technically, it's last year.
That's fair.
I mean,
that's fair. This season.
Yeah, there we go.
This season. All right. Let's see here. I want to try to do this.
Well, we know one already got fired.
Yep. Which by the way, that's kind of stank from the Patriots, isn't it? Isn't that kind of messed up? Like, you knew this team was going to suck. What did you what the hell did you expect?
This bad?
Yes.
This bad?
Their Vegas over/under win total was less than Carolina's.
All right. If Belichick was still there, would they have won a few more games?
No.
See,
no, the team sucks.
I think Belichick is worth a couple more games.
I don't know how. I don't know how. That roster was booty cheeks. In fact, you overperformed to some degree because Drake May was pretty good and snagged you one or two. Their Vegas over/under win total was 4.5. The Panthers was 5.5. Right? Now, if you grabbed them at the 4 when Rob Brown told you to, before they jumped up to 5, you'll remember last offseason, I was telling you, get them at 4, get them at 4, get them at 4. I got them at 4. Then it jumped up to 5.5. New England's was low. I made a big deal out of it with Rashad Beer going into the season. I'm like, how does it feel to not have the predicted worst team in the NFL according to Vegas? Because that's the Patriots now. What did this team expect out of Gerard Mayo in 1 year? When you just came off of a coach who had been there for 20 how many seasons, and after Brady left, this team just kind of got bogged down into a quagmire. Giggity, giggity. Where did you expect to be? I think Gerard Mayo got a raw deal. Now, conspiracy theory, there's a reason he got a raw deal. Because the Patriots realized they should have hired Mike Vrabel in the first place, and this is going to be their last chance. Because somebody's hiring Mike Vrabel this offseason cycle. I'll tell you right now, I'd be okay with Mike Vrabel down in New Orleans, Louisiana. Somebody's going to hire Mike Vrabel, and if the Patriots pass on him again, they'll never get the chance again. He'll never be back on the radar. So I really don't think this was a firing because they're unhappy with Gerard Mayo. I think it's a firing so that they could go get Mike Vrabel in there. And we got a lot of NFL news and notes we got to get to. We'll burn up through all of those today. We'll start looking ahead to the college football semifinals because, my dudes, we are closing ever closer in to the semifinals. We have got coming up on the 9th and 10th, just 2 days away. On the 9th, Penn State and Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. On the 10th, Texas and Ohio State. And then we wait just 10 days until the Natty on January 20th.
Why does it have to be 10 days? Because, I mean, I know you've mentioned this, but it would be great if you just wait a week and have it on Friday, on the following Friday. Friday would be the perfect day to have that.
I mean, any day but a Monday.
Well, no, because Sunday, any day during the week is a problem, except for Friday. Friday is a perfect day. You're going into the weekend. I mean, they're having the semis on Thursday and Friday. Why not have the final on Friday?
That answer is easy because TV ratings suck on Friday nights. Historically,
it wouldn't if they put that there.
They're not gonna try to be the ones to break the wheel and go into it. You'll notice nothing puts itself on Friday nights because no, it's not a TV night.
TGIF used
Back
to be.
in the day,
yeah.
sure, but in contemporary America, nothing puts itself up on a Friday. Just put it on Saturday, like every other college football thing. Just put it on Saturday night. I know it sucks for Lonzo, especially if the Buckeyes are in it, but put it on Saturday night like every other college football thing, and let us kill the hangover on Sunday and come back to work on Monday. What are we doing? Why do we have to put it on Monday night? That means I got to stay up till 11:30 on Monday night to watch. That's going to be very frustrating. If Ohio State's in, are you staying up the whole night?
No. I will go to bed when I go to bed, and I will get up the next day and watch it before I come to work. I mean, as you often talk about being an adult, I also know my body, and I know if I stay up that late, I will not be able to function the next day. So, yeah.
All right, we'll talk some college football when we come back. Rob Lonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate.
No, the worst part about it will be Lisa in the other room still watching while I'm trying to sleep, which she cannot watch quietly. So maybe I'll find a way to sleep with headphones on or something.
I'm meteorologist Sarah Foster. I'm a Fan Upstate. Currently it's 30 degrees.
Feels colder than that.
There's a large group of people. It felt real cold this morning.
It's the wind. The wind is got to be some wind chill going on. Well, there's one I won't put on. What the X?
What?
Beat Texas. This is very self-serving.
You are going to be able to sample bacon-centric dishes from some of the most talented culinary
Porky
artists
treats.
in the upstate. And
Porky treats.
You're doing it all for a good cause. As Bourbon and Bacon Fest benefits Carolina Adaptive Golf.
Do I have more than
1.5?
We're happy to partner with. Here's what I want you to do. Go to bourbonandbaconfest.com and get your tickets today. Let's celebrate two of America's favorite things, bourbon and bacon. Go to bourbonandbaconfest.com to get your tickets to the 2024-25 Bourbon and Bacon Fest.
I'm in a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574. Oh, I'll switch. So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate? That's a headache. Nope, it's painless. Oh, so it's easy money. Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023, who switched to Allstate and report savings. Savings vary.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more savings. Straight Savings account enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Sponsored by Rapid Radio. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Can't wait to hear what's next on Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel. Tell me what's coming up.
Last night, we got an FCS national champion. But were the FCS playoffs more compelling than the Power Conference playoffs? Speaking of national champions, I picked Ohio State back in August to win it all. Am I still confident now that there are 4 teams remaining? And are staff changes needed in Carolina for the 2025 season?
Diesel and Cole Bryson really bring it on Wire to Wire.
Turn it on and leave it on.
Afternoons 3 to 7 on the Fan Upstate.
It was going so well till the end, and then it just cut off. And
The maestro of the matchups and the keeper of all things cool in the sports world. This is a
Texture said, Rob, the most entertaining sports talk show in the South doesn't take a day off. The audience accepts no excuses for the lag. It's time to dig down deep and find that dog in you. I believe in you. Thank you, Texter. Slap the play like a champion today sign and let's bleeping roll. Texter said, I sweat in my sleep. You're weird, Rob. How many of you have this sweat in your sleep issue? Like, what is it nightmares?
All right. Why is it an issue?
It's
because you don't do it, so it's an issue?
I mean, I guess it's just how many of you have this how many of you have this condition? No, that sounds negative. How many of you sweat in your sleep to I guess noticeable degree? That's not to say I never do, but when I do,
You made it sound like you never do.
No.
You absolutely did.
When I do, it's usually attributable to something. Like I had a gigantic steak dinner and I had the meat sweats last night. That's a thing.
Have you ever really had the meat sweats?
Oh, yeah. You've never had the meat sweats?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I have.
I've had the meat sweats. You go in on like an 84-ounce porterhouse. You get done. You fight through it. You get done, and it's just
how big is that? How big is that? Yeah, I don't.
Big boy.
No.
I mean, you gotta hammer
like $57 or something.
You gotta hammer down some meat to get to meat sweat stage. But I've hammered down some meat to get Bacon and Bourbon Fest. I'm gonna have the meat sweats Bacon and Bourbon Fest night. I'll go ahead and call that shot right now. I am absolutely gonna have the meat sweats.
If I were really mean, there were some cuts that I could have just pulled right there.
I'm not ashamed.
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not ashamed.
I do owe you for something.
But
yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
I love some good meat making me sweaty. It is what it is. All right. So how many of you are sweat profusely in your sleep?
No one said anything about profusely.
It sounds like it's profuse.
Well, no one said that. You sweat in your sleep.
A noticeable amount in the morning, I am going to say, is profuse.
Really?
Anyway.
Wow.
I just assumed, like, if you have night terrors or if you had too big of a dinner and your body is having a burn, because the whole thing is if you eat dinner late, your body's trying to like burn through some of that food. Like that's a thing, whatever. That's when it happens to me. But how many is this like the norm and I'm the weirdo that does not sweat in his sleep? Is this an issue for many/most of you? Genuinely curious.
Also not an issue, just a normal thing. So.
I disagree. I feel like it's a bit of an issue.
No.
That's just me, but I do. All right. 844-326-3663. That is the text and call-in number, 844-326-3663. Our text message poll question of the day. How many bowl games, non-playoff games, how many bowl games did you watch this year? I'm genuinely curious. Your text message responses to have your vote registered. The way it works is this. Our new text software system allows you to text in and it will tabulate your vote. But you text in at 844-326-3663. And when you text in, you have to start your text with the word to register your vote. Now, you can add more after that. But here are your options. How many bowl games did you watch this year? Non-playoff this year. Your options are none. You didn't watch any bowl games this year. Your second option is one, as in I watched my team's bowl game and nobody else's. The second one is two. I watched mine and maybe one more. Or option 4 is a handful. So you're going to text none, 1, 2, or more. Those are the 4 votes on the text message poll question of the day. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch this year? None, 1, 2, or more. And I'm asking you to answer this question honestly. This is nothing more than I'm genuinely curious as to how this worked out. See, because I know some people that got into the Pop-Tarts Bowl this year. And why wouldn't you? We had a resurrected, back from the dead, but still scarred and disfigured Pop-Tart making his reemergence after being toasted and eaten last year. You had the other Pop-Tarts out there doing WWE entrances in front of Pyro.
I saw the entrances. I never watched the game though.
So how many I'll start with you, great one. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch this year?
One
non-playoff bowl game. South Carolina?
Yeah.
That checks out. Mine is a handful, but I tell you every year, I watch as many as I can get my eyes on. I'll watch a Tuesday 1:30 in the afternoon bowl game if that's what's on, because I know we get to January 20th. We have 3 games left. The 9th, the 10th, and the 20th. And when those 3 games are done, we're done for 200 some odd days. So I watched every bowl game that I could get on the TV at the house in the Bro Cave. But I also think I'm the exception, not the rule, right? I think I'm the exception, not the rule. So how many non-playoff bowl games did you watch this year? Here are your words to vote. None, if you watched 0 of them. 1, which means you watched your team and nobody else's. 2, you watched maybe your team and one more. Maybe you watched your team and the Pop-Tart Bowl. Or maybe you watched your team and South Carolina because you live in that area or whatever. You watched yours and your spouse's, whatever. Or more, which means you watched 3 or more bowl games, a handful of bowl games, all right? I'm not worried about whether you watch 66 or 16, whatever. How many bowl games did you watch? Non-playoff. Text 844-326-3663 with none, 1, 2, or more if you watched more than 2. That's what we're looking for this morning. That is our text message poll question of the day. I want to see how many. Don't text me the number. Text me the word. None, the word 1, the word 2, or the word more. Those are the 4 words you're using. None, 1, 2, or more. Use the words. I will tabulate those, and at the end of the show, we will get a read on how the Rob Brown Show Armada genuinely interacts with bowl games. And for the record, I'm not judging you if the answer is none. These games don't matter. They just don't. But I'm curious as to if they matter to you, how much. Text the word ONE 1, the word 2, TWO, none, 1, 2, or more. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Oh, I have to. Excuse me, gentlemen and ladies.
NC Central's on the road visiting Morgan State. Number 4, Duke hosts Pitt. Clemson on the road at Louisville. The Tar Heels at home against SMU. Classic Rock 101.1 is your home for Carolina Panthers play-by-play all season long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Up to minute at safe traffic, starting with some congestion. I-26 East between exit 44 and State Highway 49. A tiny bit slow there on the eastbound side, maybe 2-3 minute delay. Ongoing construction, south on I-85 at the exit to Pelham Road. Right now, not really bothering anyone. It looks fine as you move down towards I-385. And the problem we had reported at US 25 right there, Beaver Dam Road construction. From the News Talk 98.9 WRD Traffic Center, I'm Lori Houston on the Fan Upstate.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings. Because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with autopay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions, exactions, and apply. This regular monthly rate phone price is fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 upgrade with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without autopay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. See factors.
1 or 2 because they were on the TV at work. I didn't go out of my way to watch any. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people did. That's kind of why I was curious about it. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, rolling through a Tuesday morning. Text message poll question of the day. Text your answer to 844-326-3663. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch this year? Text the word spelled out with letters. None, 1, 2, or more if you watched 3 or more. I am curious as to how many you jumped in. All right, coming up this evening, I do want to talk about this a little bit. Coming up this evening is the debut of TGL. Anybody know what I'm talking about when I say that, TGL? I'm kind of excited about it.
That girl lit.
Say that again, but can you snap when you do it?
That girl lit.
No, you got that
I can't.
girl lit.
Okay, I can't. That's not everything's a song.
Tonight is the debut of TGL. It is, depending on who you ask, either That Golf League, The Golf League, or Tiger Golf League. Basically, tonight, we are going to see a spot where golf and video games are going to cross up. It is 6 professional golfers. And when I say professional, I'm talking PGA and Live Tour golfers. Tonight, the New York Golf Club, Matt Fitzpatrick, Ricky Fowler, Xander Schauffele take on the Bay Golf Club, which is Ludwig Aberg, Wyndham Clark, and Shane Lowry. 6 of the best golfers on planet Earth. They are playing golf inside of a souped-up basketball gym. Okay? They've got a gigantic. Have you seen that? Have you seen the golf simulators that are real big on social media right now? People build these golf simulators in their basements. Yeah. It's a giant that. Okay, big ass screen, scoreboards on both sides,
like something you would see in Pat McAfee's gym.
Yes, big screen with a virtual golf course on it, and in front of that screen are 3 squares. 1 representing a fairway, 1 representing the rough, and 1 representing the sand. And these guys will be hitting golf balls out, hitting golfing, hitting into this screen and playing around a golf. But it's not just golf. There are all these different rules and.
So this is the NFL quarterback challenge.
To some degree. But they have made a whole league out of it. There's 9 teams of 3 golfers, all from their parts of the country and the world. What they have the Jupiter Golf Club, because Jupiter, Florida, a lot of PGA Tour guys live down in Jupiter. Tiger lives down there. He's on that team. I think Rory McIlroy lives down there. It's kind of interesting to me because golf is doing something that I have encouraged other sports to do for a long time, and I'm genuinely curious to see what the TV ratings are, because they've also hyped the crap out of it. I was watching the playoff game, the last round of the playoff game, the game, the night, what was it, last Saturday or whatever, when we had 3 games in one day, back to back to back. You know what day it was? It was the day that the 3 games, but the Sugar Bowl got delayed by day. So what was that, Tuesday? And then the Sugar Bowl got delayed to Wednesday of last week. I was watching the first 2 games.
It was Thursday, and the Sugar Bowl got delayed to Friday.
Whatever day it was.
Yeah.
I was watching that last week. Told you, the brain ain't on yet. All right. It's idling, but it's sputtering right now. I was watching. I don't know why that was necessary.
It was entertaining, though.
Sure, why not? I hope so. I was watching the bowl games, and I'm super big, and we're going to talk about this later on in the show. I'm super big on the alternate broadcast. Give me Skycam for every football game. Every game. And by the way, if you're not watching the Skycam, the Skycam's great because there's no announcers. It's just it's stadium audio. So you hear the PA announcer announcing everything. You hear the band, you hear the crowd, and nothing else. It's like being at the game. It's great.
Yeah, if you're not watching Skycam, you're probably not a play-by-play announcer.
I mean, I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't need the guys telling me what just happened.
You are not announcing in your head.
No.
When you're watching.
No, I don't. But again, I don't need to. I know what I'm looking at.
Okay.
I also like all 22 because I like seeing what the wide receivers and the defensive backs are doing. That's like 100% part of the play that most people never get into. So I'm watching the alt broadcast. The thing with the alt broadcast, though, is every break, it's like the same 3 commercials that they repeat, right? There's one that ESPN runs that just hypes ESPN. And it's got this like Latin hip hop song that plays in the background on a loop that has, I think my wife almost murdered me because it's just every break. This song goes on for like a minute. They had that commercial running. They usually have a commercial of whatever the bowl sponsor is for that bowl game. And then they were running commercials for this TGL event that kicks off tonight. And when they started it, I was like, all right, I'll tune in. And after like the 80th time I saw the commercial, I'm like, yeah, I'm not making plans on Tuesday night. Like I'm watching this. They have a big screen. The guys are going to hit off of simulated fairway, rough, or sand onto this screen. And then once they get in, they have a green on the other side they will putt on. But this green was built with like hydraulic lifts under it, so they can actually move and shape the green to represent the green of the course that they are virtually playing. So, when you Joey B has a simulator in his basement, for instance, right? And so every couple of months, me and a couple of the fellas will go out to Joey B's house and we'll turn his simulator on and we'll go play Pebble Beach or whatever, right? But you don't putt. You hit the ball into the green, and then basically it like D&D dice rolls to determine whether you took 1 or 2 or 3 putts to knock it in. You say, tell what your handicap is and what your average putting is, and then it kind of figures, all right, the chances you make this putt are blank, and so, then it rolls the dice and you just, whatever. These guys actually are going to have to putt, but they built this green with hydraulics under it so that every time they step onto this green, it's the same green every time. Obviously, it's in a building, but every time they step onto this green, it's going to be contoured differently. So it's going to be different putts every time they go up there.
So they're playing putt-putt, except it moves.
No, I mean it's a big open green, right? It's not like a lane. It's like it's a golf green.
All right, but how big can it be?
I mean, I don't know the
size of this room or
it's big.
Okay.
It's big, right? So they built this inside of effectively like an NBA sized gym, and it's the floor of the gym, and it's like as wide from one side to the other. It's It's pretty impressive. So there's other things, and I'll be honest, like I don't know what all the special rules of this are. There apparently is overtime rules. There are referees that are going to be there. So here's the competition format. They'll play 15 holes of golf each match, divided into 2 sessions, 9 holes of triples, which is 3 versus 3 alternating shots, and 6 holes of singles, which is one guy from each team will be paired up with one guy from each team, and they'll play across. So like Rory McIlroy, Adam Scott, and Keegan Bradley are playing for Boston Common Golf. Atlanta has a team called the Atlanta Drive with Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, and Billy Horschel. On hole 1 of triples, Rory tees off for Boston, JT for Atlanta. Then Scott would take the shot for Boston, Cantlay for Atlanta, and they'll alternate 1, then 2, then 3, then 1, then 2, then 3, all the way through those holes. Then when they get to hole 10, and they're going to play 10 through 15 as singles, it'll be 2 guys from each team playing, or a guy from each team playing against each other. If you win in regulation, you get 2 points. If you win in overtime, you get 2 points, but the losers in overtime get 1 point. And if you lose in regulation, you get 0 points. It is going to be tournament style. It is taking place at the SoFi Center on Palm Beach State College in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, a 250,000 square foot venue that will accommodate 1,500 fans. So this is, it's going to have more people there than NXT does on a Tuesday night. And on top of that, and this is why I'm intrigued by it, because they are encouraging fans. I've got a buddy who lives down there. They're encouraging fans to like be excited, to be a wrestling crowd, right? To get loud, to get excited, to get super into this. I actually really like this concept. I really like this concept because it is going to, I'm going to say the first time, because you've had some events that have leaned into this, although some of them have kind of backed down. You know, we've talked for years. I've been trying to convince Lonzo to watch the Waste Management Open out in Phoenix, which has always been, and they've changed it up a little bit. They've kind of pulled back on it, but it used to be like a frat party on steroids, but at a golf tournament. They're kind of like encouraging fans to be this way, to like get rowdy, to have some fun. So I think this is a really interesting concept by the PGA Tour that I wonder how many of you guys that are either like you are golf fans or maybe you're super casual golf fans, but maybe this kind of builds the hype. How many of you will tune in to watch your favorite golfers play kind of out of their element, right? Kind of play. Golf has always been a place where if you don't have a golf course, you can't play it. And now with the rise of the simulator era, I have, and this is I'm doing the math in my head. I think I've played more simulator rounds in the last year than I've played actual rounds of golf in the last year. Last year, I've probably played 15 rounds of golf on a golf course. I've probably played 25 times on a simulator.
Doesn't it take some of the exercise out of golf, though? I mean,
for sure, which for a lot of people is a selling point.
Okay.
Right? I'll tell you what else it takes out of the round of golf.
It takes the outdoors out, which is one of the appeals of golfing.
For some people it is. For some people it's not, right? I'll tell you one other thing it takes out. You know what else it takes out? Time. A round of golf is 3.5 hours. If you get out there on a busy day and there's a lot of other people on the course, it could take you 4.5, 5 hours to play a round of golf. You're giving up your day to play a round of golf. If I play on a simulator, I can play a round of golf in like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, right? Because I don't have to walk to the ball. I hit the ball. I stand in one place, and the computer just goes, okay, next shot. Go ahead whenever you're ready, right? But the reason I'm interested in this is not for, you know, the fandom, although I'm intrigued to see what a wrestling crowd at a golf event looks like. It's not for the rivalries, because there are some guys that notably do not like each other or at least have an on-the-course rivalry that are going to be on different teams playing against each other. Every other team will play every other team at least twice in the regular season, and that's all cool. Here's what I'm genuinely interested in. In the United States of America in 2025, if you want to get on the radar, what do you have to do? You have to be fast-paced. You have to be flashy. You have to be loud. You have to grab attention. It is not a secret to anybody that the average attention span of Americans is about 20 seconds that they can commit to something new. This is why they say all the time, hell, in our industry, it's always been this way. But if you don't grab attention in 20 seconds, you're not getting attention because people move on to the next thing that quickly and easily, right? So what did golf do? Which has historically been considered the most boring professional sport. And I get it. You tune into a golf event, a golf tournament on a Saturday morning, and let's go out to the course. Rory McIlroy on hole 6 looking like he's taking that 60 degree out of the bag. Rory approaches his shot, winds blowing left to right at about 10 miles an hour, enough that he will have to take that into consideration. We'll see if Rory decides to go with the flop shot. You know what I mean? Like that. I get how that's, if you don't love golf, that's not your bag. So what are we doing here? We're putting some adrenaline into it. We're pouring some nitrous into it. We're getting some gas going, right? Like it's going to be flashy. It's going to be loud. It's going to be music. There's going to be rivalries. There's going to be bleep talk. There's going to be crowds that are into this event. And I'm not worried about the TV ratings tonight. I wonder what the social media reaction is going to be overnight, right? I wonder after this event is over, if we get...
What if there's no reaction at all because no one watches it?
That's what I'm saying. Here's the thing. I'm not worried about the ratings are. I'm not. Because to me, and this is what I think a lot of TV is doing nowadays, and this is a problem. I don't know who it was. A couple of days ago, one of the wrestlers had a great point. They said something. They're like, I understand that I don't have to come out here and cut a great 10-minute promo like we did back in the day. I got to come out here and I got 10 minutes to drop a 30 to 45 second hot take that becomes a social media sensation, right? All of our favorite wrestlers, the last handful of years, they all have what? They all have some kind of catchphrase. Yeah. Yeet. Yes.
Friend of the show, Orange Cassidy, has no catchphrase.
His is unspoken, right?
He says, I have no catchphrase.
That is a catchphrase, dude.
And I believe what he says.
That is a catchphrase. But it's what can you do to grab attention? That is, you can do it in a reel. I have been told by someone in a corporate authority position for this company that the way we do radio now should be think in reels. That's what I got told. Think in reels. What's that mean? It means you got to do a full segment, but figure out how you can get your point across in a way that is 59 seconds or less so that we can chop that out and put it on a reel and get you going viral on social media. That's what's wanted. That's what America responds to now. So I'm interested in seeing with this video game format, with the lights and the noise and the sound, with putting these PGA golfers head to head against each other, have them standing around together in the same place. Because even when you watch golf, it's like one guy's way over there because he hit his ball in the sand, and one guy's way over there because he piped a drive right down the center. They're not walking together. They're not talking together. They're not interacting. You just have a camera following Bryson DeChambeau up a fairway. Now, I got 6 of these dudes standing together talking crap or talking golf or whatever. Now I can cut that up into reels, and what's that do? Now I get to put the personality of the golfers, which is what Rob Brown's saying to do for years. I've been screaming it at baseball. Star your stars. This is the opportunity for golf to star its stars. This is the opportunity for golf to say, hey, this is Justin Reed. This is Roy McIlroy. This is not locked in competition Sunday in a sport where they've always been taught like quiet and low key and like don't let your emotions show. This is who they are as people. And if I can, will this hook the next generation? Will a younger generation of people who think in Fortnite terms look at this and go like, oh, it's golf, but it's a video game. I like video games. And maybe give it a shot and then follow those guys over to the golf course. I think this is a great idea from the PGA Tour, and I'm interested to see what social media reaction it gets. I don't care about the TV ratings. You know what always generates social media buzz? When Lonzo does the Sports Flash.
Absolutely. I am a real walking. Black Friday wasn't quite as dramatic as many expected. The Patriots, Gerard Mayo, and the Jags, Doug Peterson, were the only head coaches to catch the axe, though a few assistants and coordinators were let go across the league. The football championship subdivision title belongs once again to the North Dakota State Bison, who knocked off previously undefeated and top-seeded Montana State 35-32. The title is the Bison's 10th, all of which have come in the last 14 seasons. No other school has more than 6. They are also the only team in college football history to have a 16-0 season. Tune in tomorrow at 6:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Citadel right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. It's us. It's right here. It is The Fan, upstate.
Reports of a problem. I-85 is White Horse Road here on the northbound side, and a sold-out vehicle that was in the left lane. Looks like that got moving, and there's really not much of a backup there. From the News Talk 98.9 WRD Traffic Center, I'm Lloyd Houston on The Fan, upstate.
You have 3 ex-wives, and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898.
These are not the 2 men that I stood side by side with for the last 10 years. This version of those 2, I don't recognize. Sometimes, people are in your life for a season. I thought these would be my brothers for a long time coming. Clearly, we moved in very different directions. But I'm excited or interested to see what they do with their careers because right now it's kind of spinning.
Big E by name, bigger man by nature. I'm impressed by that. And I'll say that historically I've been in a ton of locker rooms. Locker rooms never get along. They never agree on anything. The 2 remaining members of the New Day have managed to unite the entire industry behind this man. The New Day guys.
I didn't watch the post game. I wish I would have. I had to go to bed.
It's something unremarkable given our history. I'm on your side.
That blows my mind. And I'm also a little concerned for their taking shots at Kendrick Lamar in LA. You better have personal security to make sure you get on your plane.
That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries.
Was that the first time Big E's commented since?
It's the first that I've seen. I knew he was going to be on the post-game show, and I was curious if he was going to comment on it.
Those are always weird because much like when we have guys on, I never know if they're going to do them full kayfabe or.
Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
QC first break.
And off we go into our number 2 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown. And the great one, Lonzo, with the 1s and 2s. This is interesting. We already knew it. We already said it once this hour. It's going to be part of the water cooler cheat sheet here in just a minute. But the Bears have formally requested to interview Mike McCarthy, which I find interesting because Dallas hasn't fired him. He's not fired.
Yeah, but I think his contract is up or something.
It is. So, I mean, I guess technically Mike could be like, you know what, Jerry, I'm out. You, Cowboys, the fans, everybody.
So if his contract is up, they have no say on whether he can.
I believe that it is a full free agency for Mike McCarthy. Mike can leave just like Dallas could say, yeah, we're not bringing you back. My only question is Mike McCarthy the guy you trust? I'll tell you what, hang on to this because this is going to be part of the water. You know what? Let's just dive on in. Why not? 7:01 in the morning. You have, as of right, hang on to it. Now 58 minutes to get your behind into the office locked in, but we know how it goes. You work 5, 6, 7 minutes, you take that first smoke break of the day. Even if you don't smoke, you get it. All right. Walk down the hallway, head to the employee break room, stand by the water cooler where the boss can see you and talk sports with your coworkers. And if you're going to talk sports with your coworkers, you got to know what's going on. And if you got to know what's going on, you need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
I'm a winner. I know how to win.
even before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It's the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office this glorious Tuesday morning and start talking sports with your coworkers. When you do, this is what you'll be talking about. Let's dive right in with item number 1. I don't know how many of you watched it. If you didn't, you missed out. It was a great game. I had it on the small TV while I was watching Raw on Netflix on the big TV. Cam Miller ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for 3 more in his 54th consecutive start as North Dakota State's quarterback. The Bison won their record 10th football championship subdivision title last night, beating top-seeded and previously undefeated Montana State 35-32 in an absolute ball game. The 14-2 Bison made the trip from Fargo to Frisco for the 11th time in 14 seasons. Its previous title there was 3 years ago in a game that had Miller and Montana State's Tony Millard as the starting quarterbacks. North Dakota State's 10 FCF championships have all come in the past 14 seasons. No other school has more than 6 at this point, according to ESPN. The Bison's only title game loss in Frisco 2 years ago to South Dakota State. They are the only team in modern college football to have a 16-0 season 5 years ago when the Bison also won that national championship. Miller was 19 of 22 for 199 yards. He ran 18 times for another $121 and won his 45th game out of 56 starts and his second national title. The Bison back once again on top. Texter said, why are you talking like you're from Canada,
Yes,
That's North Dakota,
It's still Canadian, Wisconsin, like a mix in there.
I just assume everybody that lives up in a place around a place called Fargo.
Also a little bit of the Bears guy in there.
Bears, Bears. Bison, the Bison, the Bison, the Bison, the Bison, the Bison, the Bison. I got nothing.
Did you touch your nose?
Yeah, but I had an itch.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, I had an itch. It wasn't like a
like hit it on the nose. That's just what you were doing.
another heart attack, Bob. It's all right. Gonna be all right,
I
Bob.
learned my lesson to not do that. I'm not hitting
Yeah,
myself
Bob.
anymore.
Hang in there, Bob. You'll be all right, Bob. The Bison win their 10th out of the last 14 years. I would go ahead and say dynastic. Can I tell you what thought I had last night, though? Isn't it kind of interesting that major college football has been, in the last, let's say, 20 years, major college football has been dominated by teams from the South or the Southeast predominantly? Major college football has been dominated by the South. FCS football is dominated by the north of the North, like North Dakota, Montana, etc. I have no idea why that is, to be honest with you. Other than the concept that the rich get richer, right? What's the best way to become a billionaire? Be a millionaire? Other than the rich get richer, as in if you're a top tier recruit trying to decide where to go, like you're going to go to the places that are already successful so that you can be successful as well. Major college football has been dominated by the South, but the best of lower level FCS football has been dominated by Montana, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, teams way up north. And I wonder why that is, or if there is a reason outside of the fact that it's just those teams that go every year. So every upper level recruit that ain't quite FBS level, that is FCS level, goes, yeah, I'm going to go play up there where all the trophies are.
Well, think about it. If you're on that level and you can't get to the next one yet, you're going to go there. And how many guys transfer out of those schools?
I mean, we've seen a few.
Yeah,
we've seen a few. You go win a championship there, and then you
you
decide I'm
can
going to
get-
hit the portal. That's a good place to get noticed.
You can also get drafted out.
So
of it,
so
too.
it is a rich get richer theory
Yeah,
for you.
Yeah, it is.
If Montana State
I want to go
recruits-
somewhere where they win, and it's a gateway to either bigger college football or to the NFL.
If Montana has got a recruiting pitch of, if you come here, there is a better than 80% chance that you will win a national championship at the FCS level and probably do it in, your first 2 to 3 years. If you go there and win one, and then you put your name in the portal, you are on the radar of the FBS schools.
Wonder what the money's like there.
That's great. That's a genuinely great question. I wonder if there's a Bob's Used Cars in Fargo, North Dakota. They're like, hey, you come up here, we'll give you a King Ranch Super Duty.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds
It's
awesome.
a big truck, Bob. It's got the 4-wheel drive. It's got the V8. If it snows in Fargo, don't worry. This bad boy will climb the top of that mountain and back right down. That's Bob's Used Cars in Fargo, North Dakota, for all your, oh, damn, it's snowing outside and I need a big truck needs. Come on down to Bob's Used Cars. Sorry, come on up to Bob's Used Cars. It's in Fargo. That's way up there, Bob.
Well, I mean, the ads are probably in Fargo, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to say,
Oh, yeah. Come on out. If it's snowing, don't you worry. Put on those big tennis racket shoe things that people got to wear. Walk on down to Bob's Used Cars. We'll get you driving home in that brand new Super Ranch. Texter said, keep the King Ranch. I want a Raptor, eh? Yeah, we got those at Bob's Used Cars, too. Official car dealership of North Dakota State quarterback Cam Miller. Come on down this weekend. It's a blizzard outside, but don't you worry. We got Cam Miller, and we got free brats on the grill. All right, that's enough of that. That's dumb. I don't know why I keep doing that. Item number 2.
Sorry, I was just looking for the snowfall in Fargo, North Dakota right now.
I don't actually know if it's snowing in Fargo, North Dakota. I just assume it is because it's
There's
North Dakota.
Zero snow in Fargo.
Well, I saw a place called Fargo on TV once. It was very
By
snowy.
the way, it's really snowing.
Every episode of Fargo, it's got snow. Now, Detroit, Michigan, I got to tell you, Bob, that's a tough place to live. All right? I can't imagine anybody would go up to Detroit, Michigan to live in the snow and would love their life and talk about it constantly, how great and amazing it is. But to each their own, huh? All right. Item. Sorry.
I already played it, so.
Yeah, no, I had to take myself out of the.
Okay.
I had to stop being Fargo guy. I was being Fargo guy.
I'm not sure that you can get all the way out of Fargo now because I think it's in there.
There's a little bit of Fargo in all of us. Let's Fargo to item number 2 on the water. Thank you very much. On the water cooler, Chichi, NFL Black Monday have come and gone. It wasn't really the bloodbath that a lot of us thought it was going to be. We effectively had one head. See, or was you heard me say it? We effectively had one head coach fired yesterday, as Doug Peterson was released by the Jacksonville. You want to know the definition of awkward? I heard this morning as I was kind of flipping through on my drive in to the office. Way too damn late. There was a press conference, a teleconference yesterday after Doug Peterson was relieved of his duties as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Shad Khan was on it, as was the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trent Baalke. And
Shad Khan still have that killer mustache? Oh, you were listening. You weren't watching.
Correct. Phone con. Right. Now, first off, yes.
I think you could hear that mustache.
Yeah, that's his thing for sure. Trent Baalke, Shad Khan on a phone call on a teleconference talking about the decision to move on from Doug Peterson. And one of the, I don't know if it was a reporter or if it was the host, I don't know who it was, but one of the people on the call said, Shad Khan, you will have kept like a good chunk of the non-coaching staff in place. If an owner comes in, if a head coaching candidate that you really want was to come in, because there is rumor right now that Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions, may be interested in Jacksonville. Now, why would he be interested in Jacksonville? Handful of reasons. Number one, it doesn't snow in Jacksonville. Number two, there are people, and I think I'm still one of them. But there are people who believe that Trevor Lawrence, between Urban Meyer and now Doug Peterson, has kind of gotten shafted by the organization. All right, come on, man, stop it. Has kind of gotten shafted by the organization here. And that with the right coach understanding who Trevor Lawrence is, could still be a dynamic player in the National Football League. We've seen flashes of great ball out of Trevor Lawrence, but it's not consistent. And if you are Ben Johnson, going to a place where there is a quarterback you believe in, as he is the guy who has pretty much carte blanche to call his shot. Everybody wants Ben Johnson. Everybody wants Johnson. Trevor Lawrence might be a guy that he believes in, and so maybe he's on the list. Oh, I got a better one than that coming up for you later in the show. Grand Canyon University just signed a golfer who has the greatest name ever. A name so good that I've gone back and forth debating if I'm even allowed to say his name on the radio, but it is his legal name. And it's not like he changed his name. It's just his actual name. I'll tell you what it is later.
I've been doing a lot of training lately, so there's a good shot I'll just dump everything.
We'll see.
I'm just telling you.
We'll see. Stay tuned, find out. Ben Johnson may head down to Jacksonville. It's on the list. I doubt it. I don't think that's the case. But the fact that the Bears are interviewing Mike McCarthy, everybody has been working on the assumption Ben Johnson was going to go be with the Bears. Oh, no. They were on a call yesterday, Shad Khan and Trent Baalke. I'm going to get to the point eventually here. They were on a call yesterday. The reporter or host or whoever it was said, Shad Khan, you've left all your administrative pieces in place. If a head coach comes in and says, I want to change up the medical staff, I want to change up the training staff, I want to train up the GM, would you be open to that? And Shad Khan, on the phone with his GM, Trent Baalke, said, if a coach comes in and gives me a good reason to change my staff, including my general manager, I will do it. I was like, oh, like we all know, but don't say it in front of the man's face, man. Wow. I wonder if that was like that motivation piece. You ever get that call down to the boss's office and the boss is like, look, dude, you got to perform or I got to let you go. That's just how this is going to be. That motivates some people. I don't know. We'll see if it goes. All right. Anyway, item Doug Peterson, Jerod Mayo, and then the coaches that got fired in season. Matt Eberflus, Dennis Allen, Robert Saleh, and I think that's it, right? 5 open spots right now, and there is the belief that at least a couple more, probably Dallas is coming open. And I think right now that might be the list.
Why don't they this? Why doesn't Dallas just trade him?
Well, that's why. Well, right now they can't. They don't own him. They don't own the rights.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I don't know what date the contract officially wraps up. I don't know if it's like the day after the season or what. I'll do the research during the break. If they have him under contract, even if it's for a few more days, that's in the cards. If Chicago goes, we really want this guy, and Mike McCarthy says to Chicago, if you guys make the move for me, I will sign a new contract with you. But if I hit the free agent market, I'm going to take whoever's going to pay me the most. Maybe Dallas can get a little something for Mike McCarthy. There's also the belief right now that at least one team, and Schefter said this on ESPN the other day, there's at least one team that is open conversation with the Vikings about making a trade for Kevin O'Connell, their head coach. The guy that is in the playoffs, the winningest wild card team ever, that guy. What do you think the trade haul is for Kevin O'Connell right now? It's got to be a couple of first-round picks, right? Like at minimum. All right, we'll see how that plays out before we get there. And finally, item number 3. I'm curious as to see how many, if any, of you are excited about, interested, going to get into this. We talked about it back in hour number 1. But the TGL, the Tiger Golf League, that Golf League, the Golf League, whatever you want to call it, fires up tonight on ESPN and ESPN HD. 6 golfers. They're going to play 9 holes of alternating shot triples. So golfer 1 will hit a shot, golfer 2 will hit the next, golfer 3 the next, and we'll rotate through for 9 holes. Then we will play 6 holes of 3-on-3 one-on-one golf. That is to say, team member A from team A, team member B, or team member A from team B, team member B from team A, team member B from team B, team member C from A, and team member C from C, or from B, will square off as individuals. So 2 golfers from each team paired up. They will play individual golf for a point a hole. If one team wins outright in regulation, they get 2 points, the other team gets 0. If one team wins in overtime, that team gets 2 points. The team that loses in overtime gets 1 point. If you lose in regulation, you get 0 points. This is simulator meets video game meets real golf. They will be swinging real clubs, hitting real shots off of simulated fairway, rough, and dirt. They also have the green zone, which is a rotating 360-degree full-size putting green, but it has like hydraulic lifts under it that will contour this green. So every time they get on the green, it will be a different green to putt on. I'm excited about it. I think it's got an opportunity to be very entertaining. I'm excited about it to get people excited about golf the way that I am about friends of mine that don't play golf, but they'll go with me to Topgolf, right? Like they won't go play a round of 18, but they'll go play Topgolf with me. And I can't tell you how many folks I've taken to Topgolf and they go, this is actually kind of fun. And I'm like, yeah, let's go play 9, right? I'm not going to ask you to play 18. Let's go play 9 down at the Threes course. And all of a sudden now they're kind of a little more interested. I wonder if this thing gets good social media pub, if it'll kind of be a catalyst for a new round of golf. Golf's been struggling getting new fans. I wonder if this is a way to fix that. We'll talk more about it later in the show. Rob Alonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, quick live, and we're coming right back. Stay there for me, please, and thank you. Yeah, Wesley, I think it's 12 holes. I haven't played threes in a while either, which is too bad. I really liked it. It got pretty expensive. Like, it got to the point that playing threes was costing me almost as much as playing a full round of golf. So, like, if I was going to – and it still takes, an hour and a half or whatever. So if I was going to play threes, I'd just go play golf.
I know how to win.
Yeah, me too, Mike. Me too. On Saturday's edition of Bet for the Cycle on the BetQL Network, hosted by Rob Brown and Cody Decker, 4 hours, noon to 4. Cody Decker, my co-host, he also hosts Beetle and Decker on Sirius XM Radio from noon to 4 every weekday. Check that out. On Sirius XM Radio, on Bet for the Cycle on the BetQL Network, Cody Decker said something this past Saturday that I found kind of interesting, and I want your thoughts on it. Decker said, and now, for the full context of the conversation, Cody Decker's a baseball guy first and foremost. It's his love. Of course it is. That's what he played professionally. He loves baseball. But he's a football guy too. Big Raiders fan, big UCLA guy, still has a hatred in his heart for Chip Kelly that I have immense respect for. Decker said, great one, that these playoffs, unless you are a fan of a team that was in them, really of the Final Four, maybe not even of the teams before the semifinals. Decker said that he has found this 12-team playoff to be underwhelming and disappointing. He said, I thought we were going to get a great, a great tournament. We were going to get a bunch of great games, maybe a couple of upsets. He said, I genuinely thought this was going to become compelling must-watch television, and he said he feels the exact opposite about it. He said it feels boring. It feels underwhelming. You had in round 1 4 blowouts. You had in round 2 effectively one compelling game. Maybe you could make the argument that Notre Dame, Georgia. I would make the argument that Notre Dame, Georgia was compelling. But I can see how, if you incorrectly believe that big explosive offenses and touchdowns are the only way that football's fun, which you're wrong about. But if that is how you define football as fun, then you would have said, unless you're an Ohio State fan, a Penn State fan, or that's it, that you would have found the second round a little bit boring. You had Arizona State, Texas, a double overtime game that was thrilling.
Like a conference guy. Maybe you're a Big Ten guy and see our conference is better than.
I mean, I guess, but I think at that point, at least to me anyway, as not a conference guy, that feels to me like you are digging for a reason to call this college football 12-team playoff entertaining. That's kind of the spot. Wesley said Texas ASU was Dex said specifically, there has been, and this was his argument, in the college football playoffs up to the semifinal, Cody Decker said there has been one compelling game, Texas-Arizona State. And he went on to say that what should have been labeled as a wildly compelling game wasn't. He said the non-targeting call ruined that game for him. He said, I believe Arizona State, if I can't outright say won that game, were prevented from having the opportunity to win that game.
Yeah, I completely agree with him. But still, I mean, that is the most compelling game, especially if you're watching a game and you don't have a dog in the fight and you're just watching the game. I mean,
which is me for all these games, right? I mean, it's of the folks on this show, that's us for everybody that's not Lonzo. On this, I should say station, not this show.
Yeah.
On this station, really.
Although according to the promo, we've heard a couple of times, Cole picked Ohio State to win the national championship. Sure. So if you pick a team to win the whole thing, especially on the air, you want to be right.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, there's no dog in the fight outside of trying to look like stinking geniuses on the air, right? So
that is more important than people know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But if you're a fan, right? If you're a fan, then I would say I understand the argument. And if you are a fan because again, Arizona State, Texas was I will say, most compelling game so far. Honestly, Notre Dame, Georgia was pretty damn compelling to me. Two heavyweights throwing fists. All they did
is they put stakes on a bowl game. That's all they did. If this was a normal slate of bowl games, it would be like, yeah, that's what we kind of expected. But you put stakes on it and make it a playoff game. It doesn't change the fact that it probably, if it wasn't, it'd just be like any other bowl game. They're usually blowouts.
Correct. And again, I think the thought here from somebody like Deck, and this is what I told him. I said, I really want you to think about this. To me, it is compelling for one reason. Lonzo, if we were in the 4-team college football playoff mode, 0 of the teams in the semifinals would have been in it.
Right.
0 of them, not one of them. If we were in the old method, 0 of these teams would have likely gotten in. Ohio State didn't make it to the Big Ten title game. Would they have gotten in a 14 playoff? Probably not. The only team that maybe would have gotten in is maybe the committee would have slid Texas in at number 4.
Well, if you compare it to March Madness, none of the number 1 seeds made it.
Right.
So you'd have a Final Four with no number 1 seed.
Right. Which in basketball to me, that's compelling. That's compelling. But what I would say is, and this is the argument I made to Cody Decker when he said that he has been largely disappointed by these college football playoffs. Because again, the first round, 4 out of 4 games were blowouts. In round number 2, 2 out of the 4 games were blowouts. Ohio State over Oregon, Penn State over Boise State. Notre Dame, Georgia was not a blowout. But again, if you're all in it for flash and dazzle, it wasn't flash and dazzle. It was just 2 ground and pound teams throwing haymakers at each other until one ran out of gas.
All right, so Saturday's a betting show, right?
Yep.
So how did he do as far as
he doesn't bet college football.
Okay.
He doesn't bet college football. This conversation, let me clarify.
You guys discussed it though, right?
We do, but I carry the college football conversation.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Here's the way Bet for the Cycle works. It is as we say on the BetQL Network, wagertainment show. However, Deck and I's show, and it has been cleared because of just how damn good we are. Deck and I's show has been cleared to not be obligated to stick solely to bets, to gambling. Like they just let us talk sports and then we work the gambling in. We're like, okay, all that being said, I would take, right? With that being said, it's a sports show. And so Decker's argument was the 12-team playoff has been boring and underwhelming and kind of to some degree pointless. And here's what I would say. The first round was. The first round, if I have learned anything, Zoe, tell me if I'm too far here. If I have learned anything, I think an 8-team playoff is fine. I think we could do an 8-team 3-round playoff. I think we could start with teams 1 through 8 and knock it down by 1 round, go 1 through 8, because again, 9, 10, 11, 12 all got it handed to them. Handed to them, not like close games, handed to them.
I would just say from my standpoint, like I said, it could have this was what would have happened if they were all bowl games, but because it was a tournament, I was more interested in it. And I know we're going to talk about it, so of course I'm going to try to watch as much as I can, but even if I wasn't on a sports show, I would have watched more because there are stakes in the bowl games and it wasn't just a normal bowl game.
Well, again, and
I found them more interesting because of that.
That is why our text poll question of the day today is, and you can text your answer to 844-326-3663. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch? How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch? And you can text your answer to 844-326-3663. Text, and I'm looking for the word none, the word one, the word two, or the word more. Did you watch 0 bowl games that weren't playoffs? Text none. Did you watch maybe your team's bowl game if they weren't in the playoffs? Text 1. Did you watch maybe your team and your rivals or your team and your spouses? Text 2, TWO. And if you watched more than a few of them, text more. Because I wonder if the college football playoff going to 12, and now we know probably going to 16 down the pipe, is it really worth it? Because it's been largely blowouts. None of the bottom 4 seeds made it. What the hell is going to happen when we add 4 more teams on top of that? Is there a point? All right, just a thought, your reaction to Cody Decker's comments that it's been an underwhelming tournament so far. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, stay right there for me. I'll be back in just a minute. Please don't go anywhere. booing, brother.
I never made it that far, so
He got booed out of the building.
I'm guessing it may have been something else. Maybe area, what he was wearing.
Well, he rolled up into Raw wearing a MAGA power shirt for sure.
And also, it's in LA. You're going to get that from,
for sure. Like, it was 100% because of
Yeah.
And then again, like most people have been turned off to Hulk Hogan for a number of years,
Right.
but that didn't help his argument any. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate. Texter said, Rob, based on your logic, we shouldn't take top 4 seeds either. Just take seeds 5 through 8 and go back to 4 teams. LOL. Hashtag knee-jerk reaction. For the record, first off, this is Cody Decker's take, not mine. My take is 8 teams. I think 8 teams is the way to go. Honestly, as much as I've said for years, all football is good football. That's why my answer on our text message poll question of the day, 844-326-3663. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch? Text the word none, the word 1, the word 2, or the word more to 844-326-3663. How many non-playoff games did you watch? My answer is more. All football is good football to me. But I would agree with Cody Decker that for the amount of, and I do think this is about expectation and buildup. The expectation and the buildup was that this is going to be the greatest postseason playoffs of all time, and the reality is it's been filled with blow-ups.
You could look at it. You could look at it another way, and that's that buys are bad. And so if we have a 16 team, will there be buys anymore?
I would be honestly. That's a fine argument because you are at a spot right now where all the teams 9, 10, 11, and 12 all got blown out. And teams 1, 2, 3, 4 that had the bye, all them lost too. And not just lost, but with the exception of Arizona State, lost rather convincingly, right? With the exception of Arizona State, there's not really a team in seeds 1 through 4 that you would go, if they play that game again, I bet the other team wins, right? Like maybe Arizona State. Maybe. So I think we can go to 8. Texter said 8-game playoff. Yes, certainly the best team is amongst the 8 best. I mean, it's hard for me to argue that. First off, this year, that is definitively true, right? Because the only seeds that are alive are 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those are the only seeds that are alive. And by the way, I do have to point out that the concept, this year it's true. It wouldn't necessarily always be true that a team that got left out of the 4, if we had a 4-team playoff, a team that got left out would be in. This year, 4 teams that got left out would have been in.
It also makes you speculate in years past where a team that was really good lost their last game or lost a game that they shouldn't have lost and got left out of the playoff. Could they have won it all? And this would make you think, yeah, they probably
for sure.
could have.
Listen, I've said for many years, I am willing to bet that at least a handful of years, the team that would have won the championship was sitting at 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, right? That's football. So I think 8's the number because 9, 10, 11, and 12 all got smacked around. Maybe it's a different argument. If Tennessee would have upset Ohio State, then all of a sudden you go, okay, it has to be 12, right? Has to be 12. Because now the argument that we used to have about 4 to 5, now that argument from 8 to 9 is a valid argument. In year number 1, team number 9 beat team number 8, which means if it was an 18 playoff, team 9 that was better than team 8 would have, but that's not what happened. Tennessee went on the road, got the dog crap kicked out of them by the Buckeyes. So I think the way I'm looking at it now is, honestly, I was all in for 16. I'm like, why not? More football is good football, right? But the reality is round 1 wasn't good football. Round 1 wasn't good football. Next year when round 1 rolls around, how many of us, unless your team's in round 1, how many of you, if your team's not in round 1, are juiced about round 1 next year? If it stays at 12, probably not many. Now, it might be more interesting if we go to 16 and everybody's active in round one. Now we're looking at 4 days plus of round one football. Are they all going to be compelling? No. And here's the reality. You're going to have blowouts in round one. The first best team, 90% of the time, is going to beat the hell out of the 12th best team. That's how it works. Team number 2 is going to beat team number 11 or team number 15 a lot of times. Team number 3 is going to beat team number 14 overwhelmingly, just like the NCAA basketball tournament. This is why when a 15 Furman beats a 2 Virginia, we're all like, whoa, whoa. Well, now we know what clip number 1 in one shining moment's going to be, don't we? Right? And also, when that happens, those number 1 or those number 16s that beat a 1 or 15s that beat a 2, they usually get bounced in the next round because doing it consistently through a tournament is tough to do. I don't think we need, again, I have been on board with going to 16. I think I'm off that train. I honestly, I think 12 is probably the max. The only issue I have with 12, and this is what Lonzo pointed out, and I think he's right. The only issue I have with 12 is I am now convinced buys are bad. I think buys are bad. Whether you play, I mean, you're going to play in a conference championship, but you're talking a 3-week stretch.
I think they help in the NFL. I just don't think they help in the college because of how long of a stretch you're going without playing.
Well, even still, like in the NFL, the bye is 2 weeks. The college football bye is effectively 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And especially if you are a up-tempo, rhythm-based offense, right? If you're a West Coast offense, if you're a pro-style offense that's based on route timing and precision throwing and all that, because you can practice, but as anybody who's coached more than a game will tell you, you cannot simulate game speed in practice. Doesn't matter how hard you try. You can't simulate a game in practice. And so when I got teams that got to sit down for 3 weeks, like, every team that got a bye. Come in. You know why? I believe this. You know why Arizona State was the only team that stayed close? What was Arizona State's offense? Give the ball to Scatterboo and let him scatter people up out of their way, right? Like that was their whole offense. Give it to 4, let him cowboy collar his way through the line. That's the reason Arizona State was the only close game. I don't think buys are good. I think they're bad. And I'm not just saying for the teams that have them. I'm saying for the playoff itself, buys aren't good. Buys like 3+ week buys. Now, if you want to bump everything up a week and, teams play round 1 the weekend after the conference championship game, like in the NFL, right? But then you have to maintain the current structure where conference champions are the ones who get the buys, or else conference championships don't mean anything at that point. T-Experience texts the show. He said, I still stand on my idea of 6 teams with the top 2 getting a bye. T-Experience, let's look at the bracket right now. If you went with that, Lonzo's Ohio State University, who is right now, do we agree? America, Armada, Upstate, World. We all agree that Ohio State is playing the best football in the nation right now, right? After what they've done the last 2 weeks? We all agree Ohio State's playing the best football in the playoff.
For the last 2 weeks, yes.
Certainly. T-Experience, with your idea, Ohio State would not be alive today. Now, you can make the argument that, well, maybe after the Michigan loss, with the loss to Oregon later in the year, maybe they don't deserve to be. You can make that argument. Maybe they don't deserve to be alive. But under that plan, they wouldn't be alive today. They would not be playing in this tournament. You know who else would not? Notre Dame, who just bounced Georgia. They would not be in this tournament right now. They are favored to beat Penn State and go to the national championship game right now. So, T-Experience, if we went with your 6 teams, and I'm not trying to slap this down, I just want to make the point to you, T-Experience, and get your response. If we went with your method, not only would 2 of the 4 semifinal teams not be in this tournament, the 2 teams that are favored in the semifinal games, both of them would not be in this tournament right now. I think 12 is a good number. The problem is, I don't think 12 is a good number. I think it's a good number for the amount of teams that should be in. I think 12 is a good number for the amount of teams that should be in. However, if you do 12, you have to have 4 buys, just by definition of setting up a bracket. And I don't think buys are good. Texter said, buys are bad. Reseeding is good. More college football is good. 14 playoffs had just as many blowouts. 16 is the number. 16 is the number. Texter said, false. The auto bids forced 2 teams ahead. Texas and Penn State, Notre Dame were in the top 6. Well, hang on, Texter. If we're doing it that way, you have to then say conference championships don't matter outside of your seeding, right? Now, if you want to say that, that's fine. So you're getting, and this is fair, you're getting rid of the importance of the conference championships. They still matter right now because you're playing for a bye. Although, and I said this right after the bracket was released, if I gave you the opportunity going into, forget where we are now, going into the college football playoffs, to put your team anywhere in this bracket, well, not anywhere, to put your team, I mean, honestly, anywhere is not a bad say. If I gave you the opportunity, Zoe, to put your team anywhere in the bracket, would you rather have put them where Oregon was, getting a bye, but having to play the winner of Tennessee, Ohio State, and then play whoever comes out of Texas and Arizona State? Or would you rather be where Penn State was? You got to play in the first round, but you get SMU. You got to play in the second round, but you get Boise State, considered by many to be the weakest second round team. And then you get whoever is alive after Notre Dame, Georgia. I got to tell you, Penn State got an easier path to the title than the Oregon Ducks did as the one overall.
They did. And Penn State got what they needed as a team because of the reputation of the coach not being able to win a big one. They got an easier draw. Now he's won a couple big ones.
So my spot there would be, this year, I would have rather not win the Big Ten if I knew I was still getting in. I would have rather not won it and go where Penn State was than won it and go where Oregon was.
Lane Kiffin was right.
I mean, listen, there's a lot Lane Kiffin's been wrong about, but a lot Lane Kiffin's been right about. I'll tell you right now, let's put it this way. Next year, same setup, Oregon and Penn State. They're 1-2 in the Big Ten going into the Big Ten title game. Don't you lay down for that game? If now, again, it's not going to work out like that every year, but I think a lot of years it will. If you know, especially when the committee said over and over, we're not going to drop a team for losing in their conference championship game. If I'm looking and I'm going, okay, if I lose the Big Ten, I'm checking in at number 6. That means I get number 11, and I'm going to get one of the 2 weaker conference champion auto buys. What? Like, why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I want that? Why wouldn't I lay down in the conference? And what happens if you're Oregon and you go, wait a minute. Last year we went in, and as the 1 seed, we got Ohio State and Tennessee. Well, here's the thing. The 8 and 9 seeds are going to regularly be filled up by really good teams who check in 3rd in a really good conference, right? Like, we all talk about how the SEC is just stacked, yeah? That means more often than not, the 3rd best team in the SEC is going to be as good as the 1st best team in most other conferences, which means if I get the 1 seed and I get the winner of 8-9, there's going to be a hell of a lot of years with the top 4 seeds going to conference champs, even not good conferences. That's going to mean more often than not, those 8-9 slots are going to be Ohio States and Tennessees and Ole Misses and Alabamas, really good teams that are just 3rd in really deep conferences or really top-heavy conferences. I'd rather be Penn State, go in at 6, play 11, then play the 3 seed, which is going to be, in the current structure, one of the weaker conference champions, and then get, whoever comes from a good bracket out of the 2 and the 7 side. I'd rather play that. So I don't know. I think at this point, I'm looking at this bracket and going, we may have to go to a reseeding format like the NFL does, right? Number 1 gets the lowest remaining seed every round. Number 2 gets the second lowest remaining seed every round. And you do it that way. I don't know. I think the more I'm looking at the bracket, the more I can see why people look at this bracket and go, I honestly don't love it. It's a great idea, but it's not working out the way it's supposed to. All right, we got a lot of text, 844-326-3663. We'll check in on the text line when we come back. That's after Lonzo seduces you with his sports flash.
The football championship subdivision title belongs once again to the North Dakota State Bison.
Go Bison, eh?
Who knocked off previously undefeated and top-seeded Montana State 35-32. The title is the Bisons or the Bison. I don't know. Is it do you put plural in there? 10th, all of which have come in the last 14 seasons. No other school has more than 6. After their first-round playoff loss, Clemson officially relieved defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin of his duties yesterday. Dabo Swinney made the announcement via a press release on social media. Goodwin was promoted to the position in 2002 to replace Brent Venables, who you never know, might be back. We'll see. Tune in tomorrow at 6:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus the Citadel right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, upstate.
I-85 at White Horse Road. Looks like that's fine. For the new Sharp 98.9 WRB Traffic Center, I'm Lloyd Houston on the Fan, upstate.
It's just not normal, the pain caused from chronic joint pain, day after day. But some people have dealt with it for so long, it's become the new normal. Short-term fixes aren't working. Hey, it's Charlie James. Make the decision now to say no, not going to live with it. Get moving again in 2025 with the help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine, using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Burn, 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 burn.
You're getting us flagged again.
Can't get flagged for singing it, right?
Actually, you can.
For performing it. I think if you only sing a few seconds, you're in the clear.
No, I just did training yesterday about copyright infringement. And you would be wrong. The time limit is a myth, according to the training, which you probably should have taken. And maybe you did, and maybe you haven't yet. It's kind of funny you weren't required to take it in order for you to get access, but I am, even though I have access on another station already.
And remember, the best windows are American made. Hi, this is Cole with Wire to Wire, and this is Diesel. We'll be live tomorrow from 3 to 7 at Ingalls Markets at 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway in Spartanburg. Stop by and say hi. We'll also be giving away a $25 Ingalls gift card.
I'm Bopper, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com.
It will take me all week, but there's a good shot I get done with that training by Friday.
Our new technology platform.
How long is it?
What I need to take 2.5 hours. It was nine modules. Did 2 yesterday, but one module is like 26 minutes long.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that one in today. All the other ones are like 7 to 13, but there's a bunch. So then people coming in there and I'm like, training. Maybe, James. Maybe.
I'm a winner. I know how to win.
You weren't here for the origin of that.
Sound like Shaq yawning or something.
It's Chris Berman. Berman was doing highlights. Matthew Judon tipped the ball, took it back for 6. And during the replay, Berman went, yeah. Like, just really, it was like really out of place.
Sound like it was auto-tuned or something.
Yeah, I slowed it down
and
right. Like tripled the length.
Oh, okay.
And that's what my head sounds like this morning.
Yeah, that audio is it disturbs me.
That's what my head sounds like.
That's like Matrix audio. Like you just took one of those pills and you're no.
All right. 844-326-3663. That is both the call in and the text in number this AM. Our text poll question of the day, and I'll tell you where the voting stands so far. You have until 9:40 a.m. to get your votes in. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch this year? Non-playoff games did you watch this year? Text your answer to 844-326-3663. Was it, and you got to text the word, none, 1, O-N-E, 2, T-W-O, or a handful. If you watched a handful, text the word more, M-O-R-E. Text the word none, 1, 2, or more. Right now, great one. 64% of our listeners say they watched at least a handful of games. Texted the word more to 844-326-3663. 27% said 2, and 9% said none. Didn't watch one. 0 people said they only watched one bowl game. And that makes sense, right? Like if you're a football fan enough that you watched your team play a non-playoff bowl game, you're probably a football fan enough that you watched some other teams play as well. Now, I probably should have phrased this question better. I should have said you watched more than a couple of snaps of it, right? Like you didn't just flip the channel and it was on, or you're at work and the TV in the break room had a bowl game on or whatever. Like you actually watched the game, not you were exposed to it. You actually sat down and watched the game. But I worded it the way I worded it, which is, how many non-playoff bowl games did you watch this year? Text your answer to 844-326-3663. None, 1, 2, or more. Use the word none, the word 1, the word 2, or the word more, and let us know how many bowl games, non-championship, non-playoff games, did you watch this year? Let's get a couple of texts in here because Rob Brown had a real bad morning, was late to work, so he didn't get time to put the audio blitz clips in. So we'll just have an extended audio blitz tomorrow on the show. T-Experience Texas said, I love your idea of the reseed, Rob. Top seed gets the weaker opponent each round. Honestly, if we're going to stay at 12, I think that's the only way to do it, right? I think that's the only way to do it because, again, if you look at the bracket, if you look at the way the bracket was shaped up this year.
Well, who's the top seed right now?
The top seed in this round would be the 5 seed Texas. This round would shape up exactly how it shaped up. It would be Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame.
All right.
5, 8, 6, 7. Round 1 did shape up that way. The highest seed that didn't get a bye, Texas, played the 12 seed Clemson. That's how a bracket works. In round 2, however, actually, in round 2, it shaped up that way. Oregon would have still played Ohio State. The second highest seed, Georgia, played the lowest remaining 7. The 3 seed Boise played 6, the 4 seed played 5. So it shaped up that way. It actually has been that way in this bracket. So now that we really actually take a look at it, the concept of reseeding doesn't matter if you get the bye. It would matter if you either had all 8 or 16, or you can't have 12 without a bye. It would matter if you had 16 teams and no byes, right? That the highest remaining seed. If one falls to 16, 2 gets the lowest of whoever is still alive, right? However that's going to work out. I think that's on the table. But I would look at this. How about UNC Chris's idea, Alonzo? We do it Royal Rumble style. Every round, every team draws a ping pong ball out of a bingo spinner, and you just have random chaotic matchups every round. I'll tell you why that's not going to fly, UNC Chris. It's not going to fly because the coaches are going to be like, absolutely not, hell no, right? Because while if I'm Oregon, I don't know who's winning between Tennessee and Ohio State, but I do know that it's either going to be Tennessee or Ohio State, and I can prep for those 2 teams. Versus if I'm Oregon and I go, I don't know which of the 4 teams are left. I think it's a hilarious idea, but I'm here for it. All of that being said, I think the number one thing I want to do is get rid of byes. I think we either go up to 16 or I think we go down to 8. I think that's the way to do it.
They're not going to go down.
No, they're absolutely not going to go down.
Yeah.
Now here, scratch that. I wonder if they might be willing to, great one, and there is a reason why. College football got its ass whipped by the NFL when they went head-to-head in round 1, right? Clemson and Texas, SMU, Penn State. Now, you can make the argument that, and I think it's fair, those were the 2 least compelling opening round games, respectfully to Clemson. Nobody cared about those games outside of our market.
Why do you have to be respectful to anybody?
I'm respectful to everyone. I'm a respectful gentleman.
Uh-huh.
Those were the games that had the biggest margin of the biggest spreads. Those were the games that, like, Texas was picked by like 90% of America to win that game. Penn State was picked by like 80-something% of America to win that game. They just weren't on paper. It's not to say they could not have turned into them, but on paper, they turned out not to be compelling, and on the field, they ended up not being compelling. Clemson, Texas was compelling for 1 half, but then Texas just war of attrition Clemson into the dirt. So I think there's – let's start with this. You want the easiest, simplest way to make this happen? Just get rid of conference championship games. That's the easiest way to do this. Get rid of conference championship games. But just like Lonzo said a second ago, we all know they're not going to go down in tournament size. They are either going to stay the same or go up in tournament size. They're not going to go down. We all know that. If you're not going to go down in tournament size, then this is easy to me. You get rid of conference championship games, you go to 16 teams. Nobody's got to bye. We play it round robin style. However, and I've told you this already, like we had Chip Patterson, we had a clip from Chip Patterson earlier in the week from CBS Sports. And Chip said, conference championship games are relatively new inventions, relatively new creations. Get rid of the conference championship games and let's go on from there. And I actually agree with that. The thing is, the conferences aren't going to agree to that. And we all know at this point, the conferences, along with their television partners, are the ones who call the shots. The conferences make mucho dinero on the conference championship games. They make mucho dinero from the money. They make mucho dinero from the TV networks, from the gates, from the merch. They make a ton of money off of that. And as we all know, college football obviously is a money-driven enterprise. College football conferences are not going to say, yeah, we'll go ahead and forfeit X million dollars on our conference championship games to make the playoff format better. They're not going to do that. So I don't know how you work around that. You can get rid of, and I'm also going to tell you right now, they're going to push back on getting rid of auto buys for conference champions. Why? Because if the auto buy goes away, what the hell's the point of winning the conference championship? If the committee has already told us, and they have, if the committee has already told us that you will not be punished for losing a conference championship game. You can go up from winning it, but you can't come down from losing it. Why in the hell would I go out there and bust my ass to win it? Right? Why would I go out there and bust my hump to win the conference championship game if I know I can't be hurt by losing it, A, and if I can't be hurt by losing it, A, and B, all I can do is get hurt. You know what that turns conference championship games into? Week 18 NFL games where you got some teams playing backups. Maybe you have a team that slips in and they're sitting at, 15, 16, and they're like, we may not get in if we don't win this thing, and they go busted. But if I'm a Duck, if I'm a Buckeye, if I'm a whatever, and I'm in the top 12. I went 11-1. I'm in no matter. I went 12-0. Winning the conference championship's irrelevant. Wouldn't I trot out all of my freshmen? Wouldn't I trot out my young guys? Wouldn't I send out the guys that don't get XP and be like, hey, go see what a game feels like in case we need you in the big dance?
It's a little too obvious.
So what? Just like week 18 in the NFL. Is it obvious that Kansas City doesn't care about beating Denver? Yes. Does anybody care? No, they're already in. Objectively.
I cared because they let Denver get in by doing it. But still.
Who cares? You have the 1 seed. If Denver makes it to that spot, they got to come to you. Who cares?
Yeah, but Rob, you don't understand. I hate Denver.
I know you're playing the rivalry game. Who cares? Right? Like to the institution rulers, to the suits, they don't care. They don't care about your rivalry. They don't care. So I don't know. Pat McNeil, DBA, Spike Callahan on our live stream, which you can watch at facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube.
Name, by the way. It's really,
I like it a lot. The Fan Upstate on YouTube, or the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Come watch all 4 hours of the show, all 5 days per week. We have fun here. He said, I can solve that. Give the conference champions a cash payout. They already get one. But if you put some sort of big financial stipulation, winner of this game gets an extra 5 minutes. Here, you want to do it?
How big is noticeable?
Here you go.
For a conference, it's got to be pretty big.
Here you go. I got you. I'm gonna take your idea one step further. Pat McNeil, DBA, Spike Callahan. I'm gonna take your idea one step further. Lonzo, the corporate sponsor of the bowl game, or of the conference championship game. And this really probably is only going to fit for the Big Ten, the SEC, maybe the ACC, and the Big 12. Talk the corporate sponsor into giving a $5 million NIL collective donation to the biggest NIL collective of the school that wins the conference championship. So Oregon, Georgia, Clemson, and Arizona State all get $5 million in corporate money straight to their NIL collectives, just for NIL purposes. Now, if I'm a coach, I'm going to bang the drum, right? $5 million to NIL. That's going to help in recruiting a little bit. Now I'm going to bang the drum. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to handle it, right? Pat McNeil, DBA, Spike Callahan says, no, give it to the players. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I put it in the NIL. And then the NIL can say, oh, Cam Scattaboo, we want you to come back for one more year with the Sun Devils after you won us a Big 12 championship. Here's a $1 million NIL payout from the 5 we got. Hey, whoever else, you helped. And also, hey, 5-star recruit out of Arizona, we don't want you to go to USC. Why don't you come play for the Sun Devils? Here's a milli, right? It's a good idea. That's all well and good. But I'll put it this way, because we got to get to a break. I'll put it this way. Zoe, something's got to change. The format as it sits has just produced, until now, And we'll see. Both of the conference championship games are two of the smaller spreads we've seen. Notre Dame is favored by 2.5. The Buckeyes are favored by 5.5, which actually is down a point, by the way. You guys were favored by 6.5 initially. It opened at 5.5. It jumped to 6.5. Now it's back to 5.5, meaning that there's a lot of money coming in on 5-seeded Texas. We'll see what the semis look like. But the 12-team playoff for rounds 1 and 2 was kind of a dud in year number 1. Kind of a dud. First off, does it matter? Second off, does it matter if we expand? Does it matter if we get rid of conference championship buys? Like, what does it matter when you take into the context of what it's going to do to the regular season and to other teams, et cetera? I don't know. All right, let's get away from that. Let's talk some NFL.
Yeah, why don't you help our guy Will out, who hasn't heard the new text line?
Don't mind if I do. Will and everyone else out there in Sportslandia, our text line is now the same as our call-in number. Our text line is now the same as our call-in number, 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. That is the number to text the show and call the show. I want you to text the answer to today's text line question of the day. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch? Text none, text 1 ONE, text 2 TWO, or text more, MORE. Text the spelled out word none, 1, 2, or more. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch? To 844-326-3663. We'll count those up at the end of the show on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Please tell me that was the shelf and not your knee that just made that noise.
Oh, no, that was me.
Okay.
Hitting there and I hit this not so much pain as in like, decided to not work.
Bryce Young.
That's peace. We used to get
Will beacon of light at season's end. Head coach Dave Canales on the path traveled by his second-year QB.
Unbelievable. Resilience, consistency, hopefulness, possibilities mindset, looking for how this.
All right, let me step away for just a minute, guys. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
She flips taller than everybody. So I'm the.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
I'm trying to figure out a strategy to teach her how to don't let them take the ball.
Don't let them take the ball.
Right. I don't care if you missed a shot.
Yeah.
But she never got to take a shot because every time she'd get around the basket, someone would just walk up and go,
"Thank you."
She said she didn't want to be mean. She is. I mean,
Lonzo, we got to get that dog in her.
well, she's 6, dude.
We got to get that dog
She
in her.
had no idea if they won or not, which they did. They doubled the score. It was like 22-10 or something like that.
Nice.
It was a lot more points than what I expected. But the couple kids who are gunners, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of shots taken that didn't go in, and then a couple started dropping. And she wasn't alone. There was a couple other kids out there.
Yeah.
Probably the majority of the kids don't grasp it entirely.
Yeah.
But you got your three or four kids who do, and they made sure they balance it and had the kids that did know.
Yeah.
That got it.
That's hilarious.
I doubt she gets aggressive till like her 3rd year.
Got to start somewhere. Got to get that dog in her.
And the other thing, practice doesn't tell you what the speed of the game is
Yeah.
going to be, which was a lot quicker than what I thought it would be. And the coaches are allowed out there, and the referee, took extra time, and they would, if someone took it out, the other team had to go all the way to the other end so they could dribble it down the court. There's a couple kids who really struggle with dribbling.
Yeah.
It was a fun experience. I just felt bad for her because I know she's wondering, why is everyone yelling my name? And we yell like, go down or shoot the ball or something. She's like, why is everyone yelling my name? Well, you see how much taller and just more stout she is than everybody else if she just had a little bit of aggressiveness.
With chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really
But Raven, because she was taller than all the other kids, she was playing softball with 7 and 8 year olds when she was 6. She was out in the outfield picking dandelions. Because, 6.
Yeah.
Your local Staples store has hot deals at super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even
I'm thinking, this team's going to get blown out every single time. Then they go out and double the other team. I'm like, okay, I guess I was wrong about that.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage.
That's why I'll never be a scout for the 6-year-old basketball team.
Staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Can't wait to hear what's next on Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel.
Tell me what's coming up. Last night, we got an FCS national champion. But were the FCS playoffs more compelling than the Power Conference playoffs? Speaking of national champions, I picked Ohio State back in August to win it all. Am I still confident now that there are 4 teams remaining? And there are staff changes needed in Carolina for the 2025 season.
Diesel and Cole Bryson really bring it on Wire to Wire.
Turn it on and leave it on.
Afternoons 3 to 7 on the Fan Upstate.
Also, not a lot of dribbling. Some dribbling, but not a lot of dribbling.
That's 844-FAN phone. This is the Rod Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Rod Brown.
I'm a winner. I know how to win.
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate rolling through hour number 3. Oh, look, what a tag from ESPN. Bye, son. As NDSU behind 121 rushing yards from their quarterback, Cam Miller, including 64 on a gut run for a tutty. The Bison win the FCS championship this year. Good for them.
Oh, no, it's back.
It's never going to leave. It's a part of you. It's a part of me. It's a part of us. The Bears. The Bison. Win your FCS title. All right. We have spent quite a bit of time talking about the college football playoff structure after my Saturday co-host, Cody Decker. Cody Decker is not enamored with these, not the playoffs, just these playoffs. Not the concept, just this bracket in particular. And he said a couple of times that he thinks some changes need to be made to make it more entertaining in the future. And again, I said to him what I've said to many of you about many things over the years. Be careful. Be careful, because trying to be entertaining has ruined many things. Trying to be more entertaining ruined boxing. Trying to be more entertaining, I'm not going to say it has ruined MMA, but it's getting close. It's getting close, because it gets to the point where if you're not the most entertaining, you're not entertaining. Like, to me, that's the cultural positioning that we find ourselves in America in 2025. If you're not the most blank, then you're not that thing. There's not room for more than a couple of things in the national zeitgeist. There's room for one thing, and it's the most whatever. This is why, for the record, this is why, in my ever so humble yet frequently correct opinion, this is why I think sports talk radio has taken a dive to some point, because there is this overwhelming, and I feel it. I don't know if everybody agrees or not. I feel it. There is this overwhelming feeling amongst the general American populace that if you don't have the hottest take, then I'm not going to listen to you. If you don't have the most exhilarating sports talk radio, I'm not going to listen to you. The reason the Rob Brown Show is the way the Rob Brown Show is because my entire philosophy behind it has always been, I am never going to be the best hot take artist. I've never been the best hot take artist on any station I've ever worked at. I'm never going to be the best hot take artist. I'm never going to be the smartest guy in any room that I walk into. I'm just not. There's a lot that I'm never going to be. There is only one thing that I can be the absolute best version of.
That's my line. Don't be taking my line.
I mean, again, Lonzo and I it's a race to the bottom.
We'll take an IQ test right now. We'll see who's dumber.
I'm not saying I'm dumb. I'm saying almost exclusively, when I say the room, in the sports radio landscape, I know ball, but there's always going to be guys who are ball knowier than I am, right? There's always going to be a guy who can go a little bit deeper into the analysis of what happened and why on any given play. There's always going to be a guy I can say, well, they rolled this cover corner over and it opened up this section of the field. And he goes, yeah, but when this wide receiver turned his hips to the outside, it tricked him. And that's why, I didn't see that, right? There's always going to be that guy. The only thing I can do better than anybody else is be me. And sometimes that's loud and obnoxious. Sometimes it's arrogant. Sometimes it's humble. Sometimes it's whatever. Always handsome. Always drop dead sexy. But it's the best version of me. And I just hope that clicks.
You forgot incredibly humble.
As humble as I am sexy, which is to say, very. The point here is that I would caution college football into doing too much tinkering for the sake of making the playoff bracket more entertaining because of how many things have tinkered to be more entertaining, and it's ruined the thing. We're wrestling guys around here. We're wrestling guys. How many great characters in wrestling decided to change their character to be more entertaining, and we went, nah. I love All Elite Wrestling.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Hi, guys. That to me, that's one of the problems that All Elite Wrestling is having right now. They had a product that was the best version of that product. What was it? Wrestlers doing wrestling. Sometimes I just want to tune in and watch some wrestling. I just want to watch guys wrestle, right? And they were really good. And then one day they were like, oh, we need to be more WWE-like with our storylines. We need better, deeper, more complicated storylines. But they're not good at it, or at least not as good as other promotions are. They're not as good at it. And then they started to lean on that, and all the things that made AEW very special to me in the early days, that's not the emphasis anymore. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I haven't watched, they had I've watched as much AEW. I'm not nearly as committed to watching. I used to watch Wednesday night. That was the only wrestling show I watched live. And now I'm like, I'll check it the next day where I can fast forward through stuff. I don't know. It's when you try to get more entertaining, sometimes you lose what made you special in the first place. I'm a big boxing guy. You guys know that. I haven't made that a secret. I used to work for Roy Jones Jr. back in the day. I love boxing. Always have been a boxing guy. A number of years ago, some guys got into the business, guys like Don King, and they said, let's make boxing more of a show. Now, I'm not against that, but they said, let's make boxing more of a show. And when they did that, they started pumping up the personalities of the boxers. And now all of a sudden, the guys
can you blame Muhammad Ali for that? Because he was the guy who made it a show. And then people tried to be like him.
Theoretically could, except for Muhammad Ali is one of the top 2 or 3 boxers in history. The problem is we started gravitating. Muhammad Ali got big because he would float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, but then he'd go whip everybody's ass. Nobody could touch him. You could put anybody in there and he got him, right? Then we started getting to a point where Tyson Fury's lost like 3 of his last 5 matches, yet the only boxing I see talked on ESPN is Tyson Fury. Why? Because he's the most entertaining. Because he wins a match and he grabs a mic and he starts singing Bye Bye Miss American Pie like he's hammered in a karaoke bar at 3:30 in the morning. And we all go, this guy's ridiculous. I got to see what else he's going to do. We don't talk about Alexander Usyk, who's beat him 2 times in a row. We don't talk about, any of the other heavyweights. We got a ton of young up and coming boxing, but we don't talk about them. We talk about whoever's out there. We're still talking about freaking Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather hasn't been relevant to the title scene in 10 years, but we still talk about Floyd Mayweather and these garbage exhibition fights he's putting up against non-boxers, right? We're talking about Tyson Paul, whatever Paul, the dumb one. I mean, they're both dumb ones. We're talking about the dumb ones.
Jake.
That one. We're talking about the dumb ones fighting 59-year-old Mike Tyson, right? Because we, as Americans, gravitate towards entertaining until we kill the thing. How many TV shows have you loved for a season or 2? And then what happens? Then we start expecting it to start, be entertaining. And they start doing every old TV. Did you ever looked at TVtropes.com? It's one of my favorite websites. It just catalogs famous TV and movie tropes that TV shows and movies fall down, right? How I Met Your Mother, one of my favorite examples. How I Met Your Mother. I love that show for about 5 seasons. And then towards the end, it became obvious that they were just going to start leaning into classic sitcom tropes. And all of a sudden, what made that show special was gone in the name of be more entertaining. I caution college football. I'm not saying nothing needs to happen because some stuff needs to happen. I caution college football not to get so carried away with it that it takes what makes the college football playoff tournament special out of the occasion. That's where I get concerned. All right, now we'll get away from that. 844-326-3663 is the text line and the call-in number, 844-FANFOD. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Presented by Progressive. NBA tonight, the Hornets look to snap a 10-game losing skid when they host the Phoenix Suns. It's the last of 3 straight hours. Sixers 109-99 last night. Men's college basketball on Monday, South Carolina State beat Coppin State 85-77. The Bulldogs improved to 2-0 in the MEAC. Omar Krosky.
Ty McNeil, DBA, Spike Callahan. Thanks for coming by, big dog. Good luck making the donuts.
Wonder what's the easiest donut to make? I guess just glazed.
Yeah.
Throw it in there. Bake it. Ready to go.
He had a breakout performance in the season finale against Atlanta. He became the 3rd quarterback in team history to have 5 touchdowns in a single game, 3 passing, 2 rushing. Cam Newton did it 3 times.
Newton.
Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo, and save with Progressive. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash of the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute upstate traffic, seeing delays now, some congestion. South I-85 as you approach Pelham Road, ongoing construction there. Looks like it's backing up towards Highway 14. Northbound I-85 north of White Horse Road. It looks like that problem we had, that's gone. Still a slight delay. And then northbound I-85 as you approach Ridge Road as well. Very little delay. Really a problem. From the News Talk 98.9 WRD traffic.
Bears are interviewing Vrabel tomorrow.
Upstate.
I like Vrabel. I don't like that fit.
And New Orleans, New York, and New England are all interested in him. So you said you like Vrabel at New England. Do you like him in New Orleans?
I would take him in New Orleans if we can keep Clint Kubiak as the OC. He's a guy I want as a head coach if I can partner him up with an OC who knows the game.
I think earlier on Andy they said that Vrabel had been spending time in Cleveland.
Yeah.
In their offense. Consulting or something like that. So maybe getting a better grasp of the offensive side of the football. But he's never going to be the play caller, probably.
Sample bourbons and whiskeys from well-known distilleries while feasting on bacon-themed bites from top restaurants. Text bacon to 72341 or visit.
All I know is the Titans went from competing for that division to being really, really bad after he left.
For university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaufunk America, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about...
I'm very interested in watching that. I may watch that later. 82-year-old man reacts to getting into a Tesla Cybertruck. Just watching them, seeing the video, watching them get in. It's great.
The affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like...
Joey B, I think they fired Mayo for Vrabel. But I also, because they've already done their interview with Mike Vrabel, if I recall correctly.
They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the Fan.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Hartford.
Always live on the Free Ice. Now, the Infinity Sports Network. No need to check the clock. It's Rob Brown time. Now, weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on the Fan Upstate.
You stay classy. I'm always classy. I'm always classy. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate, Rob, the great one, Lonzo. And you will be a part of the show, 844-326-3663. Text us at that same number, 844-326-3663. If you'd like to get at us in that direction, you can also shoot me a tweet at the Rob Brown Show. Tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on Word. Tweet us all at the Fan Upstate. And of course, join the live stream at Facebook.com/the Fan Upstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, or the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. All the different ways to get in touch with the show. We have talked a lot of college football this morning, predominantly about how it is that we would structure, should we elect to, restructure the college football playoff bracket. And I think that's an interesting conversation to continue to have. But I want to get to some National Football League Because it is, Lonzo, not wild card weekend. It is super wild card weekend.
Well done.
Thank you. Been saving that up for a year since last year's
So you did have a year of practice.
super wild card weekend. Meanwhile, in the National Football League.
If you don't say super, they will send you a memo.
Yeah, we get an email for that. 3 strikes, you're out. You're fired from radioing if you don't call it super wild card weekend. Super wild card weekend kicks off on Saturday, 4:30 in the PM portion of today. The LA Superchargers are at the Houston Texans. We follow it up at 8 p.m. Pittsburgh is at Baltimore. Then on Sunday, Denver's at Buffalo. Green Bay is at Philly, and Washington's at Tampa Bay. As we go, a pair of AFCers on Saturday, then the early AFC game on Sunday, then the 3 NFC matchups, 2 of them on Sunday, 4:30, Green Bay, Philly, 8 o'clock, Washington, Tampa. We wrap it up with a little Monday night footballs. The Minnesota Vikings are on the road at the LA Rams. By the way, favored by just 1.5 points against the Rams. Remember, not terribly long ago, Rob Brown said, I'd be careful of these LA Rams, boy. I'd be real careful of these LA Rams. I'd be careful about these LA Rams because of Sean McVay. And I'll tell you who should be particularly afraid at this moment in time is Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell, the Minnesota Vikings. I got to tell you, I might go Rams plus 1.5 in this one. Because to me, the blueprint on knocking down Sammy D is now written in stone. Get him. Get him.
Yeah, but you got to have the players to do that sort of thing.
I think the Rams have maybe the most unappreciated defensive line in the NFL this year. First off, remember, Aaron Donald left his team, and they were like, oh no, what do we do? How are we going to handle this? I'm going to tell you how you handle it. Braden Fisk, who they picked up from Florida State, Bobby Brown III, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, and I want to introduce you. If you don't already know him, they call him a strong side linebacker. He is just a go-get-him guy, Jared Verse. When Aaron Donald left, it's like, oh, they're taking a step back defensively. Jared Verse has been a machine this year. He has been something else. In fact, I don't think the Rams can win in these playoffs unless those defensive front seven go whip some booty. And frankly, I think they do in this game. I think the Minnesota Vikings, for a team that, you know, those big up north teams, they're supposed to live and die by having those big, fat, genius, brilliant, strong, tactically sound, mauling offensive lines. Am I right? Minnesota's is okay. You saw that last week. What did the lines? There was a short feature on the outside that I absolutely loved. Absolutely loved. There was a spot when the Lions had the ball where the cameras went over to the sideline and they were looking at Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. And I don't know if you saw this though, but it killed me. I loved it because they spin the camera over to the sideline. And Aaron Glenn's just kicked up on the bench. He's got his feet up. Like, he's not looking at his tablet. He's just, like, chilling, watching the game. I've never seen it. And you know why he was so damn relaxed? Because his defense was whooping that candy ass. They were all over him. Sam Darnold was pressured on 52% of his snaps. Do you know what that resulted in? Sam Darnold throwing inaccurate footballs on 52% of his passes. If you want to know how dramatic that is, until that game, Sam Darnold did not have a game where he was inaccurate on more than 21% of his passes. They doubled his inaccuracy rate just by going to get him, just by sending dudes. And so they, I don't remember who it was that was working the sideline in that game. But whoever it was that was working the sideline was talking a little bit about it. And they're like, yeah, I talked to Coach Glenn before the game started. And he said, we told the boys we're going to be aggressive. We told the boys we're getting after him. We're going to get him. We're going to go attack the line of scrimmage. We're going to blow up everything they want to do. We're going to get in Sam Darnold's face and make life suck for that guy. Which is, I mean, Detroit's always been an attacking defense, but like attacking on damn near 60%, that's an incalculable blitz rate. That's an inexplicable blitz rate. No defensive coordinator should be blitzing at 60-ish%, but they did. And Aaron Glenn, when asked about it, he was like, yeah, this was always the plan. And he goes, you want to know why I was confident doing it with Sam Darnold, with Justin Jefferson on the other side of the football, with Cam Akers on the other side of the football? You want to know why I was comfortable doing that? He said, because I went and talked to Dan Campbell, and Dan Campbell said, go do you, dog. Go do you. If that's what you think is going to win this game, then go do you, bro. And you know what happened? They went and did them, and they made Sam Darnold regress not to the mean, below it. All of a sudden, Sam Darnold, here's how dramatic it was. I said this earlier this week. I meant it then. I mean it now. I think Sam Darnold played his way out of a $100 million contract extension. Not just that he did that on Sunday night. But when I combine that with the fact that Atlanta paid Kirk Cousins $100 million effectively, and he made it 7 games and then got benched because he suddenly sucked. 1-4, 9 picks, 1 touchdown in the last 5 games. Kirko was the starter. Do you think that there is a team, Minnesota or any of the other 31, that's going to look at what Sam Darnold did when he stepped up against a Super Bowl caliber team and looked bad? They just looked bad. And look at Kirk Cousins, who had the same type of Sam Darnold resurgence in Minnesota, left, played 7 games, and then became a backup because he suddenly forgot how to do a football. You think anybody's giving Sam Darnold $100 million? No, absolutely not. So that's what Detroit does. More importantly, Sean McVay saw that. Sean McVay saw that. Sean McVay, one of the most intellectually advanced coaches in the NFL, you don't have to be a stinking genius to look at what the Lions did to the Vikings this weekend and go, oh, so blitz all the time. What's our game plan, coach? Murder. Our game plan is murder. And I want you to send 2 murderers every play. I want you to just say 2. Here's the plan, guys. Here's the plan. We're going to run a 4-3. And every time we get in the huddle, defensive coordinator is going to get on the mic and he's going to say 2 numbers. If he says your number, go get Sam Darnold. That's your job. That's your job. 72-17. Go get him. That's your job. They've got that now. I would be super careful if I was Minnesota, and I'd run the hell out of the football. I'd run away from the blitz every play. I'll give you another home team or another team that I think's in trouble. Tampa Bay's favored by 3 at the crib. Money's coming in on Washington, and I think the public's right in this one. I like Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Can we keep this thing a buck? Lonzo, how many games this year did Baker Mayfield bail the Buccaneers out just by being Baker Mayfield? Honestly, I think most of their wins. Legitimately, I think most of their wins. Every 1-score game was because Baker Mayfield did something stupid crazy at the end of the game and got him out. It was all those scrambles. It was those big hits. It was those pitches and those over the heads and those laterals and all that. Baker Mayfield being special is the reason that the Buccaneers are 10-7. Honestly, without Baker Mayfield, this team's probably 6-11. Legitimately, they're last in the division without that guy. The Lions game, he won that game for them. I would say that the Panthers game on the road, the 26-23 game that happened up here in Charlotte, Baker Mayfield won them that game. What was the other? Oh, the game this weekend against New Orleans. Baker Mayfield won them that game. What he did on that last touchdown drive, running for his damn life, won them that game. Tampa knows that, Washington knows that. Washington's got edge rushers. And oh, by the way, if they don't, you know what they do have? I regret that. You know what they do got? Jaden Daniels, who at this point is not afraid of a 2-minute drill in the fourth quarter down 3. He ain't afraid of it because every time he's been put in that spot, he's come up aces. Every time. If Baker Mayfield does something special, Jaden Daniels does something special in this game, I'm going home upset, Rams over the Vikings. And I'm going road upset, Commanders over the Buccaneers in round 1. When we come back in round 2, let's take a look at the rest of the bracket, the 4 early games in this one. The Chargers favored on the road, Baltimore by double digits, the Bills by 9.5, the Eagles by not a touchdown over a banged-up Green Bay Packers. Why not? I'm going to tell you the answer to all of those.
I just want to say I'm going to go the exact opposite of you on those first picks.
You're going Minnesota and Tampa?
Yes.
Ooh. Let's talk about all of them and the rest of them as we continue our NFL discussion on the other side of this break. Before this break, Lonzo is not going to entertain you. He's going to educate you. He's going to enlighten you, and he's going to invigorate you vigorously.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt to do all those things, but probably will fail miserably. Except for vigorously thing. The football championship subdivision title belongs once again to the North Dakota State Bison, who knocked off previously undefeated and top-seeded Montana State 35-32. The title is the Bison's 10th, all of which have come in the last 14 seasons. No other school has more than 6. That's a lot. It's a whole lot. After their first-round playoff loss, Clemson officially relieved defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin of his duties yesterday. Dabo Swinney made the announcement via I don't know, one of those, a press release on social media. Goodwin was promoted to the position in 2002 to replace Brent Venables. Tune in tomorrow at 6:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus the Citadel right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. They're pretty good, by the way. Fan upstate.
State traffic, still some leftover problems. Northbound I-85, it looks like we have a problem there right around the local Mountain Road, a little bit north of there. It looks like that's on the shoulder, but still seeing some delays there back towards I-85. Southbound I-85 at Ellen Road, construction there, that's backing up towards Highway 14. And northbound I-85 near White Horse Road, that's on the shoulder. From the News Talk 98.9 WRD Traffic Center, I'm Lori Houston on the Fan, upstate.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-514-1026 if you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns. Help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-514-1026 to see if you qualify. That's 800-514-1026.
It's just not normal, the pain caused from chronic joint pain, day after day, but some people have dealt with it for so long it's become their new normal. Short-term fixes aren't working. Hey, it's Charlie James. Make the decision now to say no, not going to live with it. Get moving again in 2025 with the help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine, using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments and are living life again without the constant pain in their joints. Want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints, get lasting relief with these amazing treatments? Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 864-448-3772. In Greenville and in Asheville, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. QC Kinetics.
The dogs and cats at Greenville County Animal Care are just waiting to meet their forever family. We have free Pets for Vets program and hold free adoption events regularly. Visit greenvillepets.org to learn about adopting your new forever friend.
Presenting a Game Plains love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning.
Tony Storm's a genius.
She is.
She's a genius.
And so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Game Plains. Try Game Plains with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up.
Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who else did?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Still seeing people saying the Chiefs lost on purpose.
Yeah, those people are
afraid of
those people are dumb.
Bottom line is, college athletics were not designed for players to
This is the one where they call me out.
$1,000 a month. You can disagree all you want. College sports was student first, athlete second. Nobody, I don't care how good they are, Diesel, nobody should make $45,000 a month at college level. And the truth is, Cole, this is unfixable. It is fixable. Number one is activists like Rob Brown, and I'm calling him out. He wanted this. He wanted it. Well, what about the players? Coaches can go get whatever they want. Coaches can get paid a tremendous amount of money. Coaches can leave when they want to. Why can't players do it? Well, now they're holding their teams hostage. They're demanding. It's not even the money thing. Yeah, it's the principle of it.
Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson.
Turn on, leave on. Afternoons 3 to 7 on the Fan, Upstate.
Gotta say, probably their best promo.
That's a good one.
I know he's cracking on you, but it's still their best promo.
Download the free Odyssey app on your phone. Search the Fan Upstate, and you're in the game. Hey, now we roll. The Fan Upstate. Your morning jolt of sports. It's the Rob Brown Show. We're talking to Chris Statlander from
So,
Elite Wrestling.
you're an activist.
Yes.
I've often thought that, so it's just good to know that I'm not the only one. You're an activist. You're a lobbyist.
I wish it
You're
did.
a lot of it's.
I am. I am the IST.
The Rob Brown Show. Now morning 6 to 10 on the Fan.
The Fan Upstate.
Keeping a buck counter at 4. I don't know what to tell you, Wesley. I'm a youth. I speak in youth.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Yeah.
Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown!
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Get robbed!
Only on
The Fan Upstate.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Final hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Yeah! Here on the Fan Upstate. After today, I might be. Honestly. After this, I am off the game today, baby. I'm just all, and I'm owning it. I'm owning it. All right. I don't know what it is.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
That's what the boss is going to say to me as soon as they get off the air. He's going to be like, that 4 hours, that doesn't work for me, brother. For sure. I don't know what to tell you. It's a fight. It's a fight. Is what I'm going to say at 10:02 a.m. I'm out.
You probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I'm out today. I gotta go. A siesta is not an option for me today. It is a mandate. It's not happening. I got plenty to do. I'll get it done. Cutting promos, lining up what I got to get done today, and then it's gonna have to happen. Halfway here today, I'm like, I have taken in the 5 years I've been here, I've taken one sick day. In the 5 days I've been here, or 5 years I've been here, I've taken one sick day. It was the day I had to go get my teeth fixed because I broke them. That's it. That's it. That's the only sick day I've taken. The other days I've not been able to come in. I've done the show from home. I don't like taking sick days. All right. Enough of y'all out there got way harder jobs than I do to come in here and sit down and talk about football for a few hours. I don't take sick days. I was real close this morning to call Alonzo and be like, put it on the bird. I can't do it. I'm a zombie. But you know what? We got here. We slapped the Play Like a Champion Today song. We played a little AC/DC Shoot to Thrill of The Office. We jacked it up to 11, and we are rocking and rolling on the three-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year, because that is what champions do.
Weird. My Undertaker gong is gone.
Conspiracy.
It's all right, though, because I got it back.
So not a conspiracy. You just didn't see it.
No. I saved my cut somewhere so I can get it. So I went and got it and put it back in my cart wall, but it was gone. And I have things in specific places with specific colors. So if I look at it, I know where it is. And it was gone.
Fair enough. And we're back, baby. We're back. All right. Joey B says Lonzo lost his dong. He did. But he found his dong. Now he's playing with his dong.
Nope. That last one was too far.
Okay.
All right. So if you've reached that point where we're going to be concerned for the rest of the hour.
Well, then let me just knock this one out while we're right here.
Oh no. I'm getting ready.
I'm just gonna say the name of a Division I athlete. Grand Canyon University has a golf team. And one of the things that has made NIL very interesting is that it has started to attract foreign students who want to come to these great United States of America to participate in collegiate athletics. And the U.S. golf college circuit is a fantastic breeding ground for that. It's a great opportunity for students that are good golfers from around the globe to come here, play golf, maybe make a little NIL, but if nothing else, get into the American collegiate institutional system, which is one of the best in the world. There is a British golfer. This British golfer just signed to go play for Grand Canyon University. And I'm really excited to follow his career. He is a very successful amateur circuit player in England. He is British. He has won, I believe, 3 amateur tournaments there. He is checked in the top 10 at like a dozen high-level amateur tournaments. This guy is a guy. This dude's a dude. And he signed to come play at Grand Canyon University on their golf team, which is a huge get for GCU. To get a guy that has this many amateur rewards is impressive. The gentleman's name, the young British golfer, who's going to be making his debut for GCU this season, is Harold Cox. He goes by the...
No.
What do you mean no?
You said his name.
Yeah, Harold Cox.
His name is Harold.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need a nickname.
It's not a nickname.
We don't. No. Harold is fine.
Yeah.
We don't need a nickname.
Well, that's his real name. That's his personal
we don't need
name.
to know what he goes by. Harold is fine.
But you go by a different name than your real name.
I go by the name that everyone calls me and has my
I
entire
understand,
life.
but it's not your. This guy doesn't go by the name that he was given. He goes by his preferred name of Harry. So,
all right. So again, for the powers that be who are listening, it's still my job anyway, because then they'll go, yeah, but you let them do it. To stop.
I'm just trying to inform people that there is a high-level British golfer coming to play in the United States. I think he's a guy we should keep an eye on. I think, I don't know why you're buzzing me. This guy is probably PGA Tour quality. I suspect that one day we're going to see old Harry playing on the circuit. That's what he goes by. I think one day we'll see Harold Cox on the PGA Tour. And I think it is only appropriate that when Harold Cox makes it to the tour, we call him by the name he prefers to go by, which is Harry. That's what he's asked to be called. So I don't know why I'm getting buzzed. I mean, and on top of that, as James points out, like you don't know any Harolds in America. Everybody that's named Harold goes by Harry, right?
Weird Harold.
Again, I don't know these people
from the Cosby Show.
So
the original, with the cartoon, not the. Yeah, that one. See, you know it.
Oh, I know it. That was when elementary school.
Excuse me, Harold Ramis.
I mean, again, every other Harold goes by Harry.
No, Harold Ramis did not go by. He went by.
All right, there's two. The point here is,
probably find some more.
I'm happy to go. Most Harolds go by Harry. All right. So Harold Cox is coming to play for Grand Canyon University. He's going to be on the tour one day, and I just think I think it is fair, as we do with Lonzo. I think it is fair as we do with Lonzo, when somebody says, yes, this is my legal given name, but I prefer to be called Harry, that we honor his wishes. I think it's important. I think it's only polite that we refer to this man as the name that he prefers to be called. I don't go by my full legal given name.
Nope.
I don't go by Robert. I go by Rob.
You mean Rodney?
Yeah, and I go by Hot Rod, right? So nobody's going to call me Hot Rodney every time. They're going to say Hot Rod. Or, hey, Big Rod. And I'm going to go, yeah, that's me. That's me. Like, I don't. I don't know why. I'm trying to be a good
By the way,
reporter.
I'm getting ready to take us off stream. We just suddenly will not be streaming anymore. That's what I'm about to do.
Stream's unregulated. You got to say whatever you want.
Yeah, it is.
Stream's unregulated.
No, but the temptation for you is the problem. You're bad people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I ain't answering the phone. Okay, so if you're calling right now,
Lonzo, answer the phone.
I'm not answering the phone.
Got to answer the phone. That's callers always come first on the Rod Brown Show. On the Big Rod Brown Show. Callers come first. I think it is important.
I hope they're complaining.
I think
Brown Show, what do you want
it's not
to
fun.
talk about?
This is of the highest journalistic standards, people. Grand Canyon University has just brought over a top flight amateur British golfer, and I want you on. Don't we want to advertise the stars of tomorrow? We got the TGL going up tonight on ESPN. I'm super excited about that. I'm really pumped. You don't need to type in the name. I still haven't got my software.
Maybe you have to type it in so I can remember.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
I don't know how quickly you're going to go to the call.
Is his name Harold by chance?
No, but if you went for 12 minutes from now, I might forget who they are.
We only got like 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. I don't get a call. I'm simply pointing out that there is a young up-and-coming British amateur golfer who's joining Grand Canyon University. I think this guy is tour quality. He's got a bunch of trophies already. He's going to be playing for a college golf national championship. And I think that it is important that if Harold Cox wants to go by a different name, that we honor those wishes and call him Harry, which is what he prefers to be called. Nope. That's on his golf profile page, on his tour page. Yeah. He goes by Harry. And I think it's only fair if somebody says, I want to be called Harry, that, we say we accept that. We accept you for who you are and what you want to be called. So good luck to Harold Cox. I'm pulling for the guy. What are you jumping for? Why are you jumping all over your side of the room over there, man? I don't understand. Who we got on the phone line?
Chris,
welcome to the show, big dog. Good to have you, partner.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I think my favorite moment of 2025 thus far with the Rob Brown Show would have to be Rob attempting to explain that people who are named Harold go by Harry today, and as the retort from Lonzo to try and so that quote-unquote young people know what he's talking about, references a show that hasn't been on in 35 years as the only Harold he can come up with. Nice pull, Lonzo.
By the way, I came up with Harold Ramis next. So, I mean, I can find some other Harolds.
Another person who hasn't made a movie in 25 plus years.
Because he just died. Like 2 years ago.
Very relevant. Totally get it. So I want to hit CFP and WWE real quick. I know you've got a lot going on here this morning. I want to start with WWE. Excellent debut of Raw on Netflix. Some things that left me questioning. I don't understand why they didn't have Solo go over. I think there's a lot more storylines you can do with it from there if you have Solo go over. But I get it. First time you're getting a whole bunch of eyeballs on there. You have the faces go over, especially a guy, and it's pretty easy to have the scene of him with the pyro going off with his finger up. I get all of that, but just feel like a lot more could be done if you kept it going with having Solo getting the victory as opposed to Roman going over there. And my CFP that I want to kind of ask a question to you guys. After Jeremiah Smith, can you make the case that the two most impactful players left in the CFP belong to Penn State, with Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren being perhaps the two most impactful players left in the CFP after Jeremiah Smith?
Now, when you say impactful, you were talking about on the field, correct? Because otherwise, Quinn Ewers is the only guy that's getting talked about, and it's driving me crazy because I'm going to tell you right now, I think Quinn Ewers is the most overhyped quarterback. Not that he's bad. He just ain't that good. Quinn Ewers has floated more footballs away from wide receivers. Like Texas is a national championship caliber team without a national championship caliber quarterback, but that's a different story. I don't think that argument.
Those two up is you've got Tyler Warren, who won the Mackey Award for best tight end in college football.
Sure.
Finished 7th in the Heisman Trophy voting. Abdul Carter, who finished 2nd in the Bednarik Award for being the best defensive player in college football. And they've both been hugely impactful in the CFP through 2 rounds thus far. It just feels like those are two guys that I don't know that any other team in college football has a pair of guys like that. I still think Ohio State is significantly deeper top to bottom. But in terms of just a top 2 guys, I don't know that anybody matches those two.
I don't think that is unfair. I will make one counter argument, Chris. Playoff Will Howard is a guy. Playoff Will Howard. Not regular season Will Howard, but playoff Will Howard has been a guy. And I think a large part of the reason why playoff Will Howard has been a dude is because Travion Henderson and Judkins running the ball out of the Ohio State backfield allow Will Howard to be a dude. Those guys are kind of the way that I used to talk about Reggie Bush, which is if they're on the field, they have an impact on every play, even if the ball's not near them. Because if they split, if they send Judkins out wide right, you got to send at least a dude and sometimes two to stay with that guy, and that opens up space on the field for Will Howard. I think that's one of those spots that I would look at, and I would say, like Reggie Bush with New Orleans back in the day, sometimes guys, Ashton Janty, pardon me, in the Boise State game, there was a play that Boise State scored on. Janty was in the backfield. He just ran to the left. They didn't even look at him. He just ran to the left, Chris. And when he took off left, 2 Penn State players went out and covered him when their quarterback was looking to the right, turned completely to the right. To me, that is still an impact player, even if it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. So I would argue that the running back duo of Ohio State is as impactful. But in terms of guys getting the ball and making a play right now, I do think that Penn State has put together probably the most shockingly good performances in the playoffs so far.
Boy, and it sure would be nice to have it continue. And I appreciate the time. And Lonzo, I look forward to hearing about Gone with the Wind and maybe I Love Lucy next to help get the kids hip to what's going on today.
That's good, Chris. I like that a lot.
It's very mean. I don't know why he came in mean. Although I was mean to him like last time he was on. So that was
That's
like
fair.
vengeance. It was definitely vengeance because I don't remember what I said, but I believe I was pretty mean about it. That's fine. It's fine.
Corn Chip Texas Show said, don't be a buzzkill, Lonzo. It's just his name. I agree. It's just the guy's name. Texas said, maybe he'll land a shaving cream deal through NIL.
No, I don't understand, but that's fine. I mean,
Talking about for Harold Cox? I don't know.
I don't know why that would be a thing.
I mean, I think he could get a what's the special grooming company? Manscaped? The manscaping company?
Well, apparently you don't have one since you don't know what it is.
I mean, I don't have it. The one the one that Rob Gronkowski used to use. You know what I'm talking about. Harold Cox NIL deals are going to be, but it's because he's such a great golfer. The guy is going to be on the tour one day, and I think it is important that we recognize Harry.
If that guy walked in here, would you know who he was?
Yeah, because I can't tell you how much of his. I'm going to stop that sentence right there, and we're coming back after this on the Rob
Brown.
Brown
Like
Show.
Rhett Lashley?
I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of room for Harold Cox to grow on tour. And I think it's important that we recognize him. Welcome to the United States, Harry. Back after this, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
I was just doing that quarterback twitch thing. You know that thing like that Dak Prescott does?
He was hitting the Jameis twist.
Yeah, that thing. I was doing that thing.
Be right back, guys. And also, sorry, Mom.
1-800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over
So I looked up famous heralds, and Ranker came up. Ranker is usually pretty good. I mean, as far as at least a list of something, whether you agree with the order or not. All the heralds are like, the majority of them are in black and white. I don't think people.
Harold is the Ethel of men.
Yeah, I don't think people
actually
call their kids Harold.
My lead singer and bassist dad is Harold Siren. He goes by Harry.
And how old is he?
Threatening 80 if he's not there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
threatening 80 if he's not there.
I don't remember a Harold from childhood except for someone who had Harold as their last name.
On your phone, download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at
FanUpstate.com.
Text or call. One number does it all. 844-326-3663. That's 844-FAN-PHONE. This is the Rod Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
So you're saying we're not moving on? Is that what you're saying?
That could not have been more appropriately timed if we scheduled it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Midrod Show. It's so good. Kane has started something that has taken over the show. Anyway, good luck to Harold Cox and his golf career. You know what? I don't even need to make all the golf jokes. You know what all the golf jokes are that I can make right here. You know what they are. I'm going to leave them alone because my mother texted me during the break, and I quote, "Are you high?" End quote. No, I'm sophomoric. There's a difference. Okay?
Right,
Sophomoric means I'm smart and educated, but I still appreciate a good wiener joke.
Okay, compared to what you were when you first got here late.
Oh, I've come alive, baby.
You're still on time for the show, people.
We're alive.
In case the powers that be are listening, he was here in time.
Oh, I was, yeah. I had the sports flash written. All right, I did my job. I just did it in a hurry. Okay, I did it in a hurry. I'm not high. I'm sophomoric, which means I'm a big Harold Cox fan, rooting for that guy, hoping that guy goes to the moon. All right, let's go. All right. I don't even know where to go from here. Let's just read a comment or two, shall we? Kane said, "Good morning, Rod. Pop-Tarts Bowl is electric. Everyone settled down about the CFP. We're not curing cancer. No need to pick NFC wildcard winners because they're going to lose to them Lions." And then I won't read the last part so that Lonzo doesn't pull a hamstring getting to the dump button. But said he's a big Harold Cox fan.
Braxton, I mean, please don't test it.
Got to get that Jameis Winston hip twist.
I'm more worried about the leg giving out on my way back to the button.
Gotta
yeah,
twist.
You're not violent enough.
Yeah, because I'm like, even that, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel that.
Well, it listens things up for sure.
You gotta go the other way though. You gotta get, get that twist in both directions. All right. Yeah, so we James said the show was very professional today. The powers that be should be happy. I agree. I get from where we were to where we started to
By
now.
the way, if we get told we were very professional today, I think we're in trouble.
Yes. The show was never intended to be professional. I can go ahead and promise you that. All right. Let's
You just can't move on, can you? I mean,
Yes.
you're trying. You don't really want to move on.
I don't. I absolutely want. I'm a golf fan, Lonzo. The TGL is starting tonight. It is on the calendar. The lady friend, even for the record, and this is why I'm excited. She's excited about it. Now she's a very casual golf fan. She throws a Masters party every year, right? We have everybody. Last year, our entire house was green and yellow for Masters weekend. We invited all the guys over on Sunday, We watched the Masters. It was phenomenal. But she's fringe golf. She loves a lefty, right? She loves Phil Mickelson. She likes Rory McIlroy a lot. She thinks he's boy next door cute, which, I mean, he is. Come on. And for the record.
Is Cox spelt with 2 X's?
No, just the one.
Okay.
Be hilarious if it was 3, but it's just the one.
Okay, I'm typing in my chapters here.
Harold Cox.
Okay.
Now, that's not what he goes by, and you should put what he goes by.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing it.
I mean, I don't.
You can go back and correct it if you want, if you even know how.
I want you to know I was moving on. I'm excited about the TGL. The lady's excited about the TGL. I kind of showed her the write-up in the format.
So it isn't one of those where she's just excited that you're excited?
No. For the record, how do I say this? She loves that I get excited about things, but me getting excited about a thing doesn't make her excited about the thing, right? Like if I go, yeah, I'm really pumped tonight because the Pelicans are playing the Wizards and we might win a game. She doesn't go, oh, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch. She's like, all right, great. I'll be in there with Olivia Benson.
Realistic and knowing that that's probably.
No, we've beat the Wiz 2 straight. They're the only team in the league we can build, right? We suck.
All right.
But Zion's coming back next week to play his 3 to 4 games before he hurts himself again. Ugh.
The upstate's own.
Dude, I'm just not. Now I'm sad again. I was having so much fun. Now I'm bummed again. Anyway, she gets excited about it. She gets excited when the sports things I like cross over with the sports things she likes. She loves tennis, right? She's a big tennis. She watches all the tennis. Specifically, when Venus and Serena were at the top of their game. She loves women's tennis. I love women's tennis. So whenever the majors come around, we schedule to watch those together. Big tournaments, right? Like I went last year, our buddy Joey B had an extra ticket to go up to the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. I went up there with him. She was pretty jealous about that. She's like, dude, man, I want to go to that, right? So we're gonna try to get up to the closest golf tournament we can get to this year. She likes golf, but she likes her golfers. She likes lefties. She likes Rory. It drives me nuts about Rory McIlroy because she's like, oh, he's just boy next door cute. And I'm like, that dude is yoked. I don't know what door you were living next to that guy's walking out of it. That guy's absolutely yoked. Probably not. If that's boy next door, you need to move to a neighborhood where guys like me live. All right. So I showed her the format. She saw the ESPN commercial when I was watching the playoff games. And she's like, what's that? I was like, oh, okay. So I went and pulled up the YouTube video where they kind of walk through and explain the whole thing. And she was like, I think I can get into that. I was like, yeah. Because her problem with golf is, like many people's problems with golf, is that if you tune in for a golfer, you get that golfer once every, 15, 20 minutes? If he's in contention for the tournament, maybe you get him once every 5-6 minutes. So for her, if she's tuning in to watch Phil, or she's tuning in to watch Rory, or she's tuning in to watch Dustin Johnson, DJ, right? He's from here. He's a Columbia guy. He's a Gamecock. If she's tuning in to watch these guys, she only gets a few minutes, which means she's effectively killing time to then watch DJ hit a shot. And then she's back out, right? So I showed her this, and she's like, okay, I can get into this, right? I can get into this. I'm going to go for the team that my favorite golfers play for, and that's going to be my team. And it's going to be fast paced, right? Guy hits a shot, bang, next guy up. Let's move on. It's going to be fast paced. Everybody, it's only 6 guys, so it's not like there's 110 golfers on the course. It's 6 rotating through. So I showed her the YouTube video for it. She's like, okay, I think I can get into this. This is why I'm excited about this. I'm excited about it because here is somebody that watching golf for me, especially in the off season, when it's not football season, she kind of knows that I'm watching a lot of football. I'll make exceptions. If there's like an event that she's got going on, it's like, all right, I'll skip a couple of games to go do your thing because you let me watch all the football. I'm watching football Thursday night. I'm watching football Friday night. I'm watching football all day Saturday. I'm watching football all day Sunday. I'm watching football on Mondays. If it's a hot, steamy Wednesday or Tuesday night MACtion game, I'm watching football Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Like I'm watching football more than I'm not watching football. So when the offseason rolls around, I do my best to make it up to her,
right? She owns my weekends. When the basketball tournament ends in March and we roll into April, May, June, she runs my weekends. And I'm good. I that's what I want. I want to do everything you want to do when it's not football and basketball season, because when football and basketball season roll around, I'm checking back out. That's just how it goes. Unfortunately, you picked to marry me. You made the mistake, not me. So golf during peak golf, April, May, June, July, it's kind of tough for me to dedicate more than a handful of minutes every now and then. But I love golf, and I want to talk about golf on the radio. I'm excited about this because, I'm excited. I'm interested to see what it looks like. I'm excited about it because she's excited about it. Because when I put it on the calendar, it's like, I have to watch this. It might not be an every week thing, but it's going to be a tonight thing because I want to see the debut of it. She's like, oh, can I watch that with you? Absolutely.
This sounds like the equivalent of watching esports. I would love to participate, but watching
But it's not, though. It's not, though. This is not.
I get there's a physical element to it.
They are playing golf. They are hitting golf balls. They are hitting golf balls.
Okay.
Right? They are playing golf. Now, here's the thing. I would assume that, maybe incorrectly, I'm going to have an easier time talking you into watching this than I am going, hey, you want to sit down and watch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of a golf tournament from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. every day? No, you're not doing that. Let's be honest with each other. But if I said, hey, do you want to watch 1 hour of the same guys, the best golfers on planet Earth? Do you want to watch 1 hour of it video game style? I suspect I'm more likely to be able to hook you, not talk, but hook you on that than I am going, hey, let's watch the Masters, which starts Thursday at 2 and wraps up Sunday at 8 p.m.
By the way, I always watch a good portion of the Masters, and I hate watching people play video games.
Here's what I know. What I know is I showed the wife the preview, and she's like, can I watch that with you? Yes. And I'm excited about it because if she looks and she watches this and she gets to know players, you know what that means? She finds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more golfers that she likes because she attaches to personality. And then when the tournament rolls around in 2 weeks and they're playing in the whatever Open out in Houston, and I go, hey, all those guys that you watched when Boston played Atlanta in the TGL, all those guys are playing. She'll go, now I got more guys I like, more guys I root for. Now I'm in. And now Rob Brown gets to watch more golf. I'm excited. 1 segment left. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. Let's go, Harold.
Pro Wrestling Talk in the Upstate, the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. That's what's up. I'm Chuck Sanders. Here's the Sports Flash presented by Progressive. Carolina Panthers.
By the way, Kane, to address your comment, I did a Gamecock show for 14 years, dude. That's
for the record. I got it.
You might be new on here. I'm just guessing because you just started commenting, but I've been in this building for 25 years. I get it. I've been in South Carolina for 28 years, 28, 29, something like that. I've been here over half my life. I get it. Okay.
I need you to know, King. I did not get explicit permission to call them the Cocks until about a week and a half ago. I thought it was up in the air about whether or not I could call, if I could just say Cocks.
Because, hopefully you won't say it with a glint in your eye like a former host did and probably still does.
No, see, this is
like he says it and goes like he just got away with something. Like,
what you will notice if you go back and listen to that first segment is that I never once said.
See, you're giving away
the game.
Yeah, you don't need to explain all that.
The point is, when I say it, I'm being very serious as a sports analyst. I want you all to know about Harold Cox.
And yes, we do win awards because of stuff like that. Okay.
Term providers have thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor.
My favorite part of the day is that he just got in trouble with his mom.
Big Lou will answer your call.
I did. I don't think she's watching it anymore yet.
Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Where will 2025 take you? With an education from University of Maryland Global Campus, it could take you towards your next success. And if accredited state university, UMGC helps working adults like you learn the skills you need for the career you want. And with no application fee, through
Former
February
Bethesda
12th,
devs suggest players are tired of massive games. I'm curious about that.
I kind of believe that.
And that's something we will delve into Saturday because I am curious about the psychology of it. Does it have to do with attention spans? Does it have to do with the fast pace of the world now? Does it have to do with the need for interaction with other people as opposed to just playing a video game by yourself and being immersed in a big place and not just some tiny finite thing where you can see all the edges?
Certified to operate in Virginia High Chef.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because...
Would you consider GTA open world?
Yes.
I mean, the maps are usually not that big, but 6 probably will be fairly big, and that's an open world.
Every time.
Guarantee you that thing sells a ton when it comes out.
6 is going to be the biggest selling game of all time.
Same thing as the next Elder Scrolls. It's going to sell a bunch, and so will Fallout. So will certain. I don't know. Maybe people don't like new IPs as much because they're worried about getting burned.
Well, I think it's burned. It's
Game Pass
also
is for.
when you're asking me to spend $80 on a game, and then if I get in there and I hate it, I'm just out $80. Final segment of the Rob Brown Show is underway right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, and you. 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE is the number. Be a part of the show. You got, it's the last minute for votes. Our text message poll of the day. Text your answer to 844-326-3663. You got 30 seconds. How many non-playoff bowl games did you watch? Text none, 1, 2, or more. And text the word, not the number. 1, 2, none, 1, 2, or more. Text your answer in the next 20 seconds to 844-326-3663. How many?
That sounded wet. That's not good. I mean,
Well, now I just talked out the last chance to text your vote. You got 4 seconds. I don't need to explain it again. We're out of time. I don't. Yeah. Like something just jumped up from the back of my throat into my throat.
I don't think you need to be that descriptive.
Oh, that was fun. I think we're good now. That one, it's still kind of there a little bit, to be honest with you. It's still all right. I think we're good now. Hang on. Okay, now we're good. By the way, if you haven't tried it yet, the Monster Ultra Vice Guava, big fan.
You were trying to not.
Did you see me this morning?
Yeah, I did.
I was death warmed over this morning. All right.
Yes, John Cena. I saw you this morning.
But we never say never. I am also, Triple H, if you're listening, I am also declaring myself in the Royal Rumble this year.
Okay, you go for it.
Okay.
And it's a little known secret that I will be John Cena's final opponent in his retirement year.
I wasn't going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it.
You guys guessed it right.
Raw was good. I had some have some questions.
If being on Netflix means that they can extend entrances and take forever to do some things and then only have like 4 matches, that's, when it's 10 o'clock and they've only wrestled twice, I got to go to bed. That's a problem.
So that is one of the interesting points about this. One of the interesting.
Hopefully, it was just because it's the first one and because it's in LA. We'll see. Like a month from now, will it be the same show?
There gets to be a point where I feel like Remember I said about college football a few minutes ago? That sometimes when you try to force more entertaining, you take away from the heart and soul of the thing that we love. And so when I tune in, like I'll give you a couple of examples. I tune in. The intro I thought with Triple H was dope, right?
It was.
Thought that was dope.
With the ring.
Yeah. I thought
yeah.
the intro was super dope. I thought the reveal of Triple H, I thought his little promo start.
It's very controversial, though, because of the things that he said and about faces and heels
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff.
Sure, but I mean, that's wrestling. I think wrestling people looked at, if you haven't watched wrestling in a long time or you've never watched wrestling, that probably went over your head. But if you're a long-term wrestling fan, it made perfect sense.
Or,
I thought,
you watched it and went, wait a minute, they know they're saying it's not real?
yeah, I mean, the kayfabe's not dead. We blur the lines a little bit. I thought it was great. So, but the point here is, I thought the intro was great. You went directly to The Rock cutting a promo. But here's my problem. What did The Rock come out and do that Triple H didn't do better in the opening promo? Like, you went from a promo talking about how electrifying and exciting this new era of wrestling is, and then you had The Rock come out and effectively cut the same promo. But here's the thing. He came out and cut the exact same promo, but he didn't do it as the final boss. He didn't do it as the character that he just got done playing for a year and a half. He came out as the guy who was in Moana as the Rock. He came out as Dwayne. He was Dwayne.
I think it's Moana, not Moana.
Whatever. I'm 40. Shut up.
He came out as Moana.
He came out as the character from that movie. He came out as Hollywood washed Rock, not the Rock, not the final boss. So here's my thought. Why did we just have this cat for a year and a half causing all these problems as the final boss, and then he just shows up in LA and he's like, Cody Rhodes has put this guy, and he's an amazing guy, and I'm going to go hug him right now.
Yeah,
like, what is this?
Yeah, I didn't get all that. I think a lot of people, me included, expected the storyline to continue when The Rock came back, and instead he was Rock, the guy
He was Maui,
who just bought a bunch more shares of TKO, and he came out as, I'm the new Vince McMahon. That's how I took it. I'm the boss now. Someone take some time.
I didn't get it. But then you go, okay, all right, fine. I can put that aside. Let's go to tribal combat first. Great. And it's an overbooked match. And I'm going to tell you, Buck, I like an overbooked match sometimes. It's fun. But I got a couple of problems with it. Number one, Rock doesn't care anymore. He just doesn't care about that anymore. He doesn't care about the Bloodline feud anymore. To the point that he has been feuding against Roman, but now he's pro-Roman, not pro-Roman enough to actually come out and help solve this family dispute of his family, enough to stay in the back and watch it, but enough that he'll still come out and raise Roman's hand, which is 100%, hey, we want to get Roman over as a face. Dwayne says it's okay, everyone. Enough to do that. Then he's chugging vodka on his Instagram with Cody Rhodes in the parking lot afterwards, which, again, I'm pro-chugging vodka in parking lots, but that's a guy you had a literal blood feud with a year ago. What are we doing here? Like, it didn't make any sense. As Joe pointed out earlier, there were 4 matches over a 3-hour and 15-minute card. There were 4 matches and all of that. When you are trying to sell me that your champion is the face of wrestling, not the company of wrestling. Cody Rhodes is the guy right now. Yeah. You had him in the audience for the opening segment. You had him do a run-in during a not championship event match and then run right back out, and then we never saw him again.
All right, did you get commercials? Because I got commercials.
Oh, yeah, you're getting commercials.
And apparently, if you're overseas, you don't get commercials. So they did a bunch of other stuff in between, which you can watch all that now online. But they did a thing with The Miz and some other stuff like that in between, promo stuff that we didn't get to see. And the transition between the commercials was shaky. They came back. I guess we all watched the same feed. They came back while Cole was already talking. Just a bunch
and look,
of things
it's much like we said with the 12-team playoffs earlier. Like, there's a chunk of it that is, it's the first time we've ever done this. Like, there's going to be some tinkering with the process.
Yeah, but as far as that goes, transitions between commercials and things. But the fact that
remember, it used to be run. It used to be run.
They don't know it's commercials. Probably they just see the vignettes I'm talking about the announcers.
No, they have a monitor. I've sat at that table before.
Yeah, but now
they have a monitor that shows them the TV feed, but they also have, and this is the problem.
But are they watching the vignettes and not the commercials? Is what I'm saying during those.
They have, and this is why I know it's Netflix, because with TBS or USA or whatever networks they've been on in the past, they're going to have a producer in the ear that goes, "We're coming back in 3, 2, 1," and then Cole talks. Netflix has never done anything like this outside of that NFL game and the Paul Tyson fight, all of which have sucked up until now. That was, to me, probably the best live event that Netflix has had so far. But I'm not even worried about the production value, because that's going to get better the more they do it. I'm not worried about that.
So.
What I'm worried about is the card, because it got to the point where it felt to me like this was more the WWE bending over to kiss its own butt about how great this deal is and how great Netflix is, to the point that it wasn't a great show. Like, it was a fine show, but I was hyped. This is the first Monday Night Raw I've watched on a Monday night in probably since 2020 when we were in COVID.
Overall, because I only saw 2 matches because it took 2 hours to get through 2 matches. The other 2 matches, along with the ones that I saw, was the wrestling good?
Yeah, honestly, the matches were the best part of the night.
2 matches I saw but it kind of went chalk, and there was nothing unexpected happening.
No, and I think that was kind of interesting. You had Cena come out and cut a whole promo about how much he loves wrestling, and this is his farewell tour. We already know that, John, right? I mean, it was good, but it was a classic John Cena, like nothing's impossible.
They're catering to the world, supposedly, because the world can all see it at the same time.
I'll tell you what this show was. This show was a reintroduction of WWE to people that haven't watched wrestling in a long time. Or have never watched wrestling. This was, let us introduce you to these characters and where they are in their storylines and what's going on. It was, if you'll pardon a D&D term, it was world building is what they were doing here for the Netflix audience, which, fine, I get that. The matches were good, in my opinion. I very much enjoyed the matches. But there was so much patting themselves on the back how great they are. You have lost The Rock as a compelling character, right? I don't know where you're going with Liv Morgan, because which is fine. I mean, like, she had a run, but Rhea's got the belt now. We all know what that means. Like, that's telegraphed.
It's going to be boring for a while, and then they'll have to take the belt off of her.
It's not boring. Charlotte Flair's coming back at this point.
Well,
and she'll probably, I would expect, come back next Monday on Netflix. All right, real quick, because we're going to talk more about this on Fight Club. The vote tabulation is done. We got the votes. 6% of your votes said you watched no bowl games. 11% said they watched 1 bowl game, your team and no one else's. 22% of you said you watched 2 bowl games, yours and your spouse's, your and your rivals. And 61% of you claim that you watched 3 or more bowl games.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
Yes, K is Bay Adams was there live tweeting it. You know who else was there? The hottest 90 girls of all time, Topanga, was there. I put up a tweet, just a picture of my TV with Topanga that said the best 90s girl. It's sitting at like 250 likes from people that are like, Yep, all
40-year-olds.
She apparently had a showdown with New Day afterwards.
She did. I watched it. Yeah, I watched it during the break while you were out of the room.
Topanga could still get it.
Yeah, it was interesting. All right, let's go ahead and stick with wrestling. The only other one that I have from that, and that is Macaulay Culkin.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I watched all 3 hours. Macaulay Culkin got the loudest pop of the night.
He got the
biggest pop of the night.
So the 2 hours I saw the biggest pop. And he played it like he should have.
Yep.
Yes.
I listen. He was great. Topanga got a pop. She was great. Like, celebrities were getting pops, but it wasn't just like so and so the rapper. It was like Macaulay Culkin and Danielle Fisher and like the celebrities we grew up with, which was fantastic. They got louder pops than the wrestlers did in many spots.
And the majority of those are actually known wrestling fans.
Yeah.
So
Topanga's a known wrestling fan. Has been for years.
Same with Culkin. It wasn't like they just suddenly showed up.
It was. You know what it was? It was the. I think the best part about it was the fact that it was wrestling fans who know who their wrestling fans are. They were the ones getting the pops. When they were just like, here's so-and-so that you've never heard of, but he's in a movie. Everybody's like, all right, great. Macaulay Culkin, hell yeah, brother. Oh, it was phenomenal.
Oh, he was feeling it, too.
Oh, he was. He did his hat reveal like he just came out of the crowd. It was amazing.
Great. All right. The next thing is Dayquil.
Dayquil. I do not know why Dayquil. I'll tell you this. Big NyQuil guy over here. All right.
You're going to love this. Dayquil is trending because someone named their kid Dayquil. And I guess that Dayquil is also a bully. And so there's a kid come home and said they were being bullied by a kid named Dayquil. So, I mean.
Are we sure it's not DeQuil? I'm sure it's DeQuil.
It says Dayquil.
Hey, were you waiting for The Rock to take the Ulafala and then put it on himself?
Yes.
That's what I was right.
That would have been.
As soon as he put it on Roman, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Yes.
I can't wait for him to put it on himself.
Dayquil. Fighter of the NyQuil.
Fighter of the NyQuil.
You don't need to. Why is he singing it, man?
That's because it's from a show.
Oh, is it?
It's from
Okay.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Where there's the whole song and dance about Dayman, Fighter of the Nightman.
Okay.
Great show.
I'm sorry.
Great show.
I don't really like it too much. All right. The next thing that is Xing is, and by the way, don't name your kid Dayquil.
Don't name your kid Dayquil.
All right. The next thing that's Xing is Deshaun Watson.
All right. I think this is why, but I don't know. There is an NFL reporter named Dove Kleiman, and he put up a tweet the other day because apparently Deshaun Watson got engaged this weekend. He put up a video of Deshaun and his fiance like dancing behind their car after their engagement, but he made the mistake of captioning it. It's really hard to not like this guy.
Yeah.
And a bunch of us, including me, were like, no, it's not. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I thought the
I am
same thing.
actively disliking him at this very second.
But that was yesterday. Today he's been being Xing. He's Xing because of a setback.
A legal setback or an injury setback?
Injuries.
Okay.
Injury setback.
Okay.
Yeah. So supposedly,
I think maybe take him up out of the news for a hot few, I don't know, years.
Yeah.
Might be the move.
And finally, the last thing that's Xing is standard time.
Listen, I don't care how you feel about the incoming administration. I don't care how you feel about the incoming or outgoing congressional representatives from your district and others. Here's what I care about. Get rid of daylight savings time.
The bill has been filed. So,
That's great. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean anything.
True.
Because at the end of the day, the people who are going to vote on this are basically people who have got lobbyists that are saying we don't want this to go away for reasons.
The fight on the internet, at least, is some people are more for keeping it daylight savings time, and the other are for standard time. So it's make
Pick
it
one.
Yeah, pick
Pick
one. Just
one.
leave it. We'll get
I
used
don't
to
care.
it.
Make it dark at 5 p.m. or make it dark at 5 a.m. or make it bright. I don't care. Pick one for the love of God. Pick one. Please.
Have a great day, Harold.
Have a great day, Harold Cox. We are all big Harold Cox fans. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later. I want to submit that as the noise that the next Godzilla universe monster makes.
No. That just hurts. That's one way to look at it, Joe.
Oh, man.
Now, after 20 years of successful orthobiologic treatment,
I hope they pass it in whichever way, just so we can get used to it. I'm talking about us, as far as getting up as early as we do.
All right. I got to go do stuff. And by do stuff, I mean do the stuff I have to do, then take a nap, then get up and do the stuff I need to do.
and you want to avoid drugs and surgery, call the experts in this revolutionary.
Bronson Reed tweeted out, due to injury, you guys missed out on me making Seth and Punk both call me daddy, then ripping a fat bong and giving Hulk Hogan 12 tsunamis. Am I a Bronson Reed guy now? You know who I was super pumped about last night? Michael bleeping Cole. That dude was that.
He's so glad to have his boy back.
Were
That's
you
what it
watching?
is.
You weren't watching when for McIntyre Uso?
No.
Okay.
I did see the yeeting happen, but
Cole got on the table. McAfee was like, Cole, YOLO, get up here with me.
right, yeah. So
He
I
got
guess I
on the
did see
table.
that part. Yeah.
He's doing they are breathing into the
I'm
mic.
trying to go to bed, and Lisa's like, "Come back and watch this."
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
So we get up on the table. They're eating. You can hear Cole like,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not going to make it. Pat McAfee, they don't show Cole, but Cole's like, am I doing it right?
And McAfee's like, you're on rhythm for like every other one. You're good. And then the camera sweeps the crowd, but it does a big crowd. And you can see them. And McAfee's up there hitting it on the rhythm. And Cole's like, just. So then Travis Scott walks by. And he walks up and he daps up McAfee. And, you know, McAfee's young and cool, and they got the timing down or whatever. And he goes to Cole. And Cole's like trying to high five him. It was so damn funny. But Michael Cole is having the time of his life, and I am here for it.
Well, you could anytime McAfee shows back up.
Oh, Cole's a different dude. Yeah. And I love it.
Some people just ain't got no rhythm. JR would never. No, JR probably could.
JR would never.
Yeah, he'd just be physically incapable, I think. He may have more rhythm than Cole does. I don't know. Maybe Cole actually does have rhythm, and that's just part of his character, and it's a work.
Might be. I doubt it. No, I saw him dancing. He just can't, which is perfectly fine. It's even funnier when he's 0.75 beats off rhythm. Because like every third one, he'd actually be on time. It's really funny.
We used to have a guy in our church who had a hearing aid, and he couldn't clap one time because it was just slightly off, and it isn't even like hitting the off beats because it gets sound just like milliseconds after everybody else, and it's just when you're trying to play or you're trying to sing, it's just like please don't clap.
My little brother and I's favorite thing when we go to like concerts and stuff is to watch for the dance move we call the funky salmon, which is when old guys try to dance but they're off rhythm, so they're just kind of doing this, but it's not really to the rhythm of the song. It's my favorite thing. All right, that's it for us, dudes. I got
whatever, Kane. An off day for this show.
It's still award-winning. That is exactly correct. Speaking of award-winning, I'm going to go do some stuff to try to get another one. Thanks for being here. You're all amazing people. Have a lovely rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to get rich and famous. Goodbye. Day man. Wow.